6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. New Titans head coach Robert Saleh was introduced yesterday. Talks about what he learned in his first head coaching stint in New York, using that experience to propel him in Tennessee.
There's no handbook to a first time at anything you do, and what I would say, the proper question would be, what didn't I learn? And there's so much to gain from any time you're in the chair as a head coach, and there's so many learning experiences that I had, but I can assure you that there was tremendous growth through the opportunity that I had with the Jets, and through that growth, I think I'm more prepared now than I've ever been.
In other NFL news, yesterday, the Eagles are hiring Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. He was 33, still playing quarterback in the league just 2 seasons ago. Now he gets an NFL offensive coordinator job and expected to call the offense in Philadelphia. In Atlanta, the Falcons have their new general manager, Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham. The Falcons also are expected to release quarterback Kirk Cousins in March. Per The Athletic, Cousins will be 38 years old heading into his 15th NFL season. And the Nashville Predators last night fall in overtime 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier nets the game winner 42 seconds into the extra period, but the Preds still pick up a point. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very good Friday morning to you, Music City, USA. Welcome in to Ramona Will. On Fridays, we have a saying that it is Friday and we're going to act like it. And after many of us not having power for days, after a new coach was introduced to the media, after we all braved the King of Winter, whatever the heck came here this weekend.
Come on.
This week.
Yeah.
We all made it. Ramon, more than usual, we're going to celebrate a Friday this morning because, dang it, we survived. So, absolutely, we should. Good morning.
We should get on our good foot, is what you're telling everybody. Like, you should pull out the nice dishes, okay, and act like today is Friday. The kids are home, so what?
Perhaps even the wedding china, Ramon.
Hey.
The wedding china.
Listen now. We use real silverware. We're going to have some problems out here, Will, is what I'm telling you.
These are things I think about now that are in my lexicon.
To your point, let's have a damn good day is what we're telling folks. Man.
Everyone can just take a deep breath, I feel like, this weekend. Is hopefully you're getting power back, and you're like me who did a couple days ago. And, yeah, it's been it's been a week that feels like 2 weeks.
My neighbor just got theirs back on yesterday. As I told you, I let them use my propane tank and invited them over to the house. They, declined because they got pets and stuff like that. Well, it's fascinating because they were using the propane tank and they tried to burn it inside, and the carbon monoxide alarms were going off. But they had a space heater. They were good. But I tell you what, it looked like they saw freedom yesterday when they were bringing back my propane tank. It was like, we got power back
I think
on.
that's how a lot of people are feeling right now. No doubt about it. Well, if you were in that boat this week, you probably had your week get a little bit better yesterday.
Yeah, it did.
Robert Saleh, introductory press conference. Ramon, how well do you think he did?
10 out of 10. I think he killed the press conference. I'm although cautiously optimistic about the process, well, the actual results of it. But as far as what yesterday was, I think he was right down the middle of the lane in what he was supposed to do, say, look like, give energy back to the reporters that were listening to him. He didn't oversell you. He didn't fluff you up. There was no intro, just statement from him. It was just pure, man, this look like, this feel like, this seems like, this might be a football coach. That's what it looked like yesterday.
I think he did really well to translate the energy that he brings to the building every day.
Yep.
I do think he did well also to not talk in circles when he was asked identity questions and things that he felt like he could just, again, to your point, properly sell you on, not oversell you on. And yeah, there were some longer with more thought out answers. That's not the problem. It's not the length of the answer. It's the message that you are conveying. And I felt like he didn't oversell. I felt like he was himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. I thought he did a good job.
What I liked was this. And I say this with all due respect to the reporters that were there covering him, but you can ask the same question 3 different ways. You know what I appreciated about his answers? He referred back to his previous answers. He was pretty much telling them yesterday, I answered this question already, and I'm going to give you the same answer now because this is all I know. I like a guy or person, human being, lady don't matter, that, listen, I said what I said, and nothing's going to, you're not going to pull more from me by asking it a different way. And I thought that was super unique, and listen to him give his opening introduction to everybody in Nashville yesterday. If you ask him about what is all gas, no break, well, I just said that 5 minutes ago, but I'll elaborate even more so. And when you have somebody like that can speak plainly to you, where they understand the scenario that they're in and what you're trying to get out of them, and he didn't give no more, no less than what he did previously, man. I enjoyed that about him.
Robert Saleh was asked a good bit about his previous experience as a head coach of the New York Jets, who was asked about changes he will make this time around. And I love this answer about calling plays now because he felt detached from the game when he was in New York. This was Robert Saleh yesterday.
I don't know if we have time, man.
Let's start us off with some big ones.
There's little things, I don't want to get in great detail on all that stuff, just for sake of just individuality and all that. But just one thing, and it's such a small thing. I didn't call plays in New York, and I just kind of gave it all to the coordinators, even though we were still part of the game planning and all that. I joke with Borgo on game day when I didn't call plays. I felt like I was just a timeout and red flag guy. I was just I had the greatest seat in the house as a fan. So calling plays for me, it's not necessarily about control, but it's about connecting with the players. When you are a play caller and you are calling plays, you feel the strain that you're putting on them with each call. You're feeling the connection. You're feeling what each one is going through. And again, like I said, I can feel the weight of the play call on individual players in those moments. And to be able to call plays and maintain that connection, maintain that feel for what the players are going through, I think is very, very important from my seat. And it's just one of the many things that'll change throughout my tenure.
I think it's really interesting, and I think that was one of his longer, more thought-out answers, because you could clearly tell, Ramon, that he explained that in the interview process as well. Yeah,
no doubt about it, man. It was, and he also left the Jet side of him mostly behind as well, but I get where he's coming from. Clearly something that bothered him as a coach, probably never used to it. Like, you got to really be of a mindset to sit back and be hands off. And the other part of it is when you're losing so much, trust the people that's doing the job to get it right the way that you would. And selfishly, I think some people should do that when it comes down to, hey, I got this, I'll just do it. Like, ain't too many people going to drive with me in the car. I'm usually going to be the driver. Why? Do I hate it sometimes? Is it bothersome? Yes, but I trust me in control here, and I think that's what he was getting. That's a simple analogy, but, like, he trusts himself to know what he's doing and being close to the scene. Like, coaches that don't call, just watching my former coach, Coach Tomlin, just walk around the building, you got to have a feel for that. Mm-hmm. And clearly, you know what I'm saying, Robert Saleh didn't feel that for himself while being on the job. And again, the other part, too, like I said, he didn't want to press back too much on the time with the Jets, but it clearly wasn't a happy time. It was probably more lessons learned than anything, and one of those was he wants the call sheet in his hand.
And we'll play more of what he had to say about his Jets tenure and things that he learned about it. I just think it's interesting. Like, I can't connect as well with a player if I'm not in the grind of calling plays and understanding what I am putting them through and how to connect with them out of that.
It's interesting, though, because here's the other fascinating part about it. If you look at every new coach that's kind of gone into it, D'Amico Ryans may be the only one that's not calling plays, but almost every new young coach in this era is calling plays. McDaniels did, right? Like, you look at McDonald, he calls plays. D'Amico may be the only one that's not. Ben Johnson called plays as a head coach. This new group of younger head coaches are getting it on their own merit. They're trying to prove why they are in these positions. You know what I'm saying? And that's a unique situation for him. And I just realized that, to be quite honest with you, all of these coaches are getting a feel through calling their own plays.
Yeah, to your point, I'd forgotten that about D'Amico Ryans because he gave over play calling duties to Matt Burke when they played the Titans and shut them out 26-0. And that was kind of a rare moment. You're right about defensive head coaches not calling plays. How is that different, or is that different from an offensive coordinator head coach calling plays? Like, is that process of talking to your players, knowing what they want, like, is that different as a defensive coach, you think, that an offensive coach, are pretty similar?
I think it's pretty similar. It's just the process of getting the job done is different defensively. I always say, like, the offense got to hit on all cylinders for it to work. Like, you can have a gap on defense and still have your linebacker creep behind and make a TFL. Like, there's growth, there's grace. I personally feel like that's given defensively. Offensively, I think the coaches have to see each and every part move in the right direction. When it comes down specifically dealing with the quarterback, like, to me, I know there's a quarterback of the defense, but that's not specifically a position.
Sure.
So I think the offensive coordinators are very much in tune to those guys each and every play and the protection of them and execution of what they got to do each and every play. That, to me, has always been the difference.
615-737-1045. I'd love to hear what you thought about Robert Saleh's introductory press conference. Live for the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. We give you the best of Robert Saleh's introductory press conference and the things we like the most after this.
What comes to mind when you think of home? Maybe it's meals around the kitchen table, movie nights on the couch, or the feeling of walking through the door and knowing you're safe. Home is where life happens, and at the center of it is your home's foundation. At USS, they understand how important the foundation is to your life and how much trust it takes when you need help protecting it. January has been a wet month and it's going to get wetter, all right? And we've already seen a good bit of this. So when water starts showing up where it doesn't belong, in your crawl space or in your basement, it can quickly become a serious problem. And figuring out where the water is coming from, well, yeah, that can be a nightmare. They can come from poor drainage, small cracks in the foundation walls, or even a hidden plumbing leak around or underneath your house. The team at USS is full of experts, man. They will find out why your basement or crawl space is wet, then create a customized plan to fix it the right way and with a lifetime warranty. At United Structural Systems, they are more than just a team of problem solvers. They are your neighbors, and they care about their customers. So you can go ahead and go to their website, man. It's USSTN.com. It's USSTN.com to learn more about them, or call them 615-488-7855.
So you met Robert Saleh now through the media. What do you think? First impressions, 615-737-1045. What did you like the most of what Robert Saleh had to say yesterday, Ramon?
What I like
With
the
your microphone
most,
on.
I know. What I liked the most from him was him making the emphasis on the players. I mentioned earlier, there'll be a clip I'm sure we play today about how it's on the coaches to set the culture for what this team expectations is, but the best teams that he's been around have been player-led teams, and I like it for two reasons. One, you don't just throw the keys to the players and it's like, hey, y'all know what to do, man. Make this thing look good. Like, no, there's a representation that have to be had from the coaching staff to kind of imprint themselves on what their expectations are, and that might take more than 1 year. You know, he said it was like once we get this thing up and running, you'll see what it looked like then. I thought that was super cool. And, I can't just give you one. I got to give you two.
Always.
Here's 1A. 1B. With that being said, too, I loved when, he was brought up the question about development of players and stuff. He's like, no. You got a coach that could be living in the Stone Age and not giving the players exactly what they need, probably productive, but not pushing them over the top. And I like the idea of him saying our coaches are supposed to be developed, too. Because coaches, I feel like sometimes get passes or they'll put a player in the doghouse because they have better thinking than you about how to get the job done, but you won't recognize that because you're stuck in your ways. I'm all about everybody feeling, Will. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody needs to feel the pressure and weight of the job.
Totally.
That's how the common goal gets accomplished, you know?
I really liked that, too. And he instills a lot of confidence just when he says anything.
It was good.
In order to be an NFL head coach, you've got to know who you are. You've got to put a certain confident foot forward and be able to verbalize your plan. Mm-hmm. Robert Saleh is excellent at it. He is really good at instilling confidence in what his plan is and his ideas to make the football team better. Obviously, any coach that's ever hired can do that. Mm-hmm. Not every coach can verbalize it as clearly and as confidently as I think Robert Saleh did yesterday. He knows who he is. He's very, very secure in who he is as a coach. And I think the ability to instill that the second you walk in a room, Ramon, has got to be a big deal for guys who are making millions of dollars and need to be pushed, but need to be pushed the right way. He clearly understands what that takes, and I think that that's conveyed really well when he speaks in the media.
As a player, you can sniff out the fake fast.
There's nothing fake about Robert Saleh.
No, it's not. Now, here's the other side of it, too. His plan and his field has to be matched up with guys that believe in him, that also want to execute his plan if his vision is as accurate as we think it is as far as winning and changing this organization around. Like, it was crucial to have a guy, I feel like, for this team like this. I'm just looking at the last, 5 years of what they've kind of gone through and what it's looked like and the results of it as well. I think it's one of those situations where you hate discipline as a kid until you realize, Tommy down the street, man, he in trouble all the time, and they really have no progress in life. And my mom and dad, discipline is not that bad. Like, the instruction that you're given from people that have success or have had success hits a little bit different. And here's the other part, though, too. Like, the conversation of, what type of leader he can be and is he an alpha and all those types of things, like, that also gets backed up through success, right? If his message is as transparent with the players and you see the results of it on the field, man, them dudes are running into the TVA dam and underneath it if you need them to. Would it been open full blast? My point of it is this. Players will sniff out when it's wrong. The way I saw Jeff looking at him in the images and the backing of, the players behind him, and it seems to me like they've been yearning for this again.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have to earn a whole lot of respect. I think he's going to walk in the room and immediately have it from his team.
Remember, that was our conversation we had months ago. It's got to be somebody that's been on the job, somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. And lo and behold, they go find that guy.
Mike in Cleveland's first up, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Mike.
There it is.
Thank you, sir.
Tighten up, baby. Yeah, man. So, let me get into it. So, y'all know I suffer from BTS. famously named by our the greatest producer in the world, Stafford. I suffer from it real bad, so I'm always a little leery. I'm not too excitable anymore with new coaches because look how things have rolled out. But I listened to a lot of the press conference, and I listened to the interview that he surprisingly did on 3HL. And the thing that I really appreciated and took away is he's sure of himself, but he ain't cocky. He didn't seem like he was just full of ego, full of pride, but he knew what he was talking about. He knew what he wanted. He knew where he wanted to come, and he knew what he knows what he can contribute and lead. Like he said, like this whole building, you know. So I thought that was dope. The other thing that I really thought was dope that was a really, really good answer is when they asked him about Miss Amy, and he didn't shy away. Like he wasn't trying to fake the funk on how some of us are, how some of us feel about her in the fan base, maybe in the media. And he said, I'm going to make my own. He basically said, I'm going to make my own. I'm going to make my own decisions about her, about, how she treats me and how we move forward working together. And I just thought that was real. Just, I ain't going to shy away from what's being said, but I'm going to make my own decisions. So, I'm dealing with BTS, but he, so far he won today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeling as battered right now, but let's see what happens, man. I hope we go out there and we get some wins. Yeah,
no doubt.
Dog.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the call.
He a little hurt, but not a lot of hurt is what I got from him.
It feels, Ramon, like the fan base is in a very positive place. If you disagree with that, you're more than welcome to let us know. 615-737-1045. But it does feel like we are in the honeymoon phase for sure. We are in the new press conference excitement. But I think even before that, there was excitement because there were coaches they could have hired that would not have elicited the kind of positive response we've seen over the last 72 hours.
No.
As the press conference week hits here.
Absolutely not. However, he won them over, as he said numerous times in his interviews yesterday. He did a lot of studying of this franchise as well before he walked through the door. And I thought that was super, super unique and telling. And the fact that he was just forward with it, like, nah, I looked y'all up too. I know you got some issues. And I think that's the best case policy, not to just be overly grateful for the job opportunity. Is if you're building a relationships, man, you come into them sometime with some baggage or some issues that you don't think about until you're in it. Well, clearly Robert Saleh thought all the way about these issues and how to fix them.
Mike Borgonzi spoke about the research they did on Robert Saleh. This was Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi asked about what stood out about Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I mean, like Robert was saying, he did a lot of research on us, and we did a lot of research on you too, though. By the way. But a lot of the research that we did on Robert, from the places he's been, was everything that we were looking for. When I laid out those leadership qualities, the people that we talked to, he exemplified all of it. I mean, we called coaches, we called scouts, we called players that he had coached before. And so then when we had the opportunity to bring him in, you could feel his leadership as soon as he walked in. Robert has a presence about him. And then he was very thoughtful in everything that he laid out, from the off-season program to training camp, the way he was going to do practices. He's very in tuned in the weight room as well, as you can see. He had a plan for everything. Player development was a big part of it. And that was one thing that we heard over and over again. He can develop players. Going through his plan for player development and the things he does with the coaches to develop his players. Obviously, the scheme that he's run. I mean, he's a high football IQ. And then really the biggest thing was the person too. Every person we called, Robert is a great human being. So when he talks about people, we want great people here. And that's a big part of it.
It's Mike Borgonzi yesterday. I thought that my alarm had gone off or something. I still had an alarm of somebody's phone. Yeah.
Kick him out.
Yeah. But Ramon, I think it's interesting on Mike Borgonzi speaking about the research they did on him. What do you think ultimately probably impressed the Titans the most about the research they would have done? What would be important to you if you were a part of the search committee process?
The way the players spoke about him. I think that's always going to be huge. I'm going to continually press that issue because I think you got to get the players right on this one. There's the guys' careers as far as being developed, the clock that some of them are on as far as trying to extend their careers out and see some joy, get some big-time wins, have some meaningful games for this franchise and for themselves. Heck, you don't want to leave a place and just be like, yeah, I made a crap ton of money and you left it worse than what it was. I think their conversations about that should have sold them more than almost anything when it comes down to how they view the leader of this franchise. And I'll even say the other part too, just the fact that Salah is he's intentionally unaware of the way people feel about this franchise and Ms. Amy. I think that would be a huge part in the research too. Like, how does he feel about getting into this? You know what I'm saying? Because those questions have to be asked because you got to understand yourself as an organization as well. But the players, I guess, opinions of him and their interactions with him, like, bode a lot in these type of situations for this team, especially Cam and how he's into developing his coaches. I can't get over that part. Like, he is in publicly said it. And I think more coaches should be of that understanding and mindset. I got to develop my coaches the same way as my players.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Cousin P in Nashville talking about Robert Saleh this morning. What's up, Cousin P?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Well, you just took the words out of my mouth when you said that. One of the first questions that was asked by PK was exactly that. I believe he said that he's not trying to already get rid of our coordinator, but what is the plan for, the coaching side of it? And PK is, he's very direct. Everyone knows that. But, that was a very honest question, That's a question that I've really, and to be honest with you guys, I really never heard before. We talk about player development, but what about the coaching development? What are we going to do after, or if, coordinators get hired and start going to head coaching position? So very, 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 very good question. One thing that I can appreciate about him so far is that, and I'm going to term this, and I think this is a good way to say this, but he is he's humbly strong. We see that, he does come in there and he has humility, but you also have a sense of, hey, man, don't mess with me. Like, this is what it's going to be. Don't take my kindness for weakness type of thing. So I really appreciated that about him. Obviously, him being a family man, he seems to take that very seriously. Well, that translates to taking the players and the family of his coaching staff the same way. He seems like he's going to treat those guys, as if they are family. So I'm really excited. I think Mike said it, BTS, where, I don't want to get too excited, not yet, but it seems like it looks good from the presser. I think he won it. We talk about winning pressers. I think that we hit on the dot with him winning that presser yesterday. I was very impressed. I will say this, guys, and I'm not going to take too much time. I know we got other callers, but I am a little cautious of head coaches that call plays.
Right.
And obviously, Brian Callahan, called offensive plays, and we were, I think, all aware that was going to happen. But I am nervous because you're not in the booth, so you don't have that bird's eye view. So hopefully his defensive coordinator will have some type of say-so. Maybe he's in the box and can say,
sure.
Hey, open for suggestions, guys. So I love you guys. I'll
appreciate
hang up
you, P.
Thank you, Cousin P. Appreciate the call. Let's start with the stuff on coaching development in his first point. What do you think that looks like? We're going to play the audio in a minute.
Yeah.
We can tell people kind of what we're thinking, but let's listen to the audio first. This is Robert Saleh yesterday talking about the succession plan if Brian Daboll were to leave after 1 year.
No, we're really excited about the staff that we've been able to assemble over the last week since we officially locked arms, if you will. But there's a plan. I think when you look at our staff, and obviously there's still some things that are fluid before we announce all of them to you, but we've got a tremendous mixture of experience and youth. We've got some young guys that'll be on the offensive staff that we feel are on the fast track to becoming coordinators. And like I said, for me, the succession plan comes from my seat in terms of what our plan is for each individual coach and how we develop them. You know, I've talked about it before. You know, the most cliche statement a coach can make is that it's our job to develop players. It's like, well, no kidding. Of course, that's our job, but who are the people developing the coaches who are asked to develop the players? You can have a coach in the Stone Age that's developing his player, but his player's never going to leave the Stone Age. So how are we keeping our coaches up to date, evolving, staying ahead of the game, so our players are constantly evolving and staying ahead of the game? So we have a program for that to make sure that our coaches are constantly evolving and pushing the envelope of what they're capable of, no different than we're going to ask our players to push the envelope of what they're capable of. So to go back to your original question, there's a plan in place. It'll kind of be revealed once we start showing off revealing our coaches. But it goes beyond the name of the coaches that are involved. It's going to go to the development that we expect them to have.
It's fascinating, Ramon. And I know you mentioned that as your key takeaway. Obviously, we've had multiple callers kind of mention it. But what do you think that looks like, coaching development, while you are also on the moving treadmill of an NFL season?
You won't notice it, I don't think, outside of the building, but it'll be outside linebacker coaches leading the defensive side of the meeting. It'll be them presenting the game plan to the players in front of them. It'll be mock game situations throughout the duration of practice in which you have your defensive line coach call the script, probably set the script for the day. It'll be in the preseason games where you have Brian Daboll having the quarterbacks coach call the play, set the quarterback up, and set the game plan out. It'll be his day. It'll be those types of situations right there where they're continually being pressed and asked to do head coaching duties without overstepping their boundaries and giving the ability to grow. I think it's I've seen it before to where guys go from intern to assistant to position coach. That's what you're trying to set your guys up, is them having voices and also duties that you would ask of almost everybody. To be quite honest with you, you better be sure of what you're doing in those situations too as an assistant coach, because if you just, playing along just to get along, you'll get exposed with this type of staff because everybody's got to be pulling in the right direction. And I'm not sure he'll have a grading scale on how you're developing, but the evaluation of you as a coach and how players get better under you will be seen by a staff like this.
Robert Saleh's relationship with Brian Daboll is going to be something interesting to follow for two coaches who were in New York at the same time to now being on the same staff at the same time. This was Salah when asked about the autonomy and the ability for Brian Daboll to manage the entire offense.
Obviously, Dave's and I have a tremendous relationship dating back to our time in New York. Obviously on opposite sidelines, but great empathy for one another and just going through those experiences. But, whenever you look at the dynamics of a head coach with his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, obviously it's no different than kind of the way Kyle kind of handled me as a defensive coordinator. There's full autonomy with regards to game planning and making putting together the playbook and the scheme that's best for this group of players. But at the same time, there's always going to be discussion in terms of what it's going to take between offense, defense, and special teams, what type of game plan we need to formulate in all three phases to win a football game. And week to week, that's always going to be different. But the communication, the collaboration, the expectations, all those will always be communicated amongst the entire staff. And the idea being that while there's three phases to football, we're still one team, and those discussions will always be had.
All the Asians. Full autonomy and full game planning ability. I think it's going to be interesting to follow. Two coaches that have not worked together who are now in a very important symbiotic relationship from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball. How hard is that, Ramon, to give up autonomy and control to someone you've not worked with yet?
How hard is it? It shouldn't be, because it's the common goal. I think they're going to be growing pains that happen. Hey, you said you weren't going to do this, or hey, we're attacking you this way when we said that this wasn't going to be in, till a week later. coaches are very malleable, man. Like you put yourself in a position where you have to learn how to adjust if you want to be successful. One thing I've learned is this, watching some of my friends be in the coaching world, the college world, NFL world as well. That group of coaches, they talk. They all know each other. You don't ever want to be in a position where you're a problem. I've seen coaches that I thought were bad coaches, Will. I'm talking about not good coaches, but they always get other jobs because that network works. They look after one another. So if you are a coach that feel like you're better than somebody else or you can't work with the group, you won't be in this profession long. So I think it's for their career's sake, Will, they have to make it work, even if they don't like each other. And I don't think that'll be the case, but it is, you put yourself in a position to where I think the way, Brian Dable and also Salah were kind of let go and what they're trying to prove, well, to be quite honest with you, it has no choice but to work. You mean to tell me you're successful?
I don't know about that.
Well, I'll put it this way. The way I said that. Yeah, you're right. It can always get worse, right? But here's my thing in trying to get the adults in the room. If you believe in, what Reggie McKenzie, Mike Berganzi, Chad Brinker, that nucleus of that
Ziegler.
brain trust, yes, Zeke, all of them, that brain trust right there, if you really believe that they're good at their jobs, and if Robert Saleh is one hell of a defensive coordinator, now he's a head coach and he's already had 3 laps around the sun with the Jets, he should be better. I look at Brian Dable's, want to prove himself again as a play caller. He really wanted the Bills job. Well, they gotta sacrifice and do whatever it takes to make this thing work. Like I'm pushing and putting pressure on it. Why wouldn't it?
The floor feels a lot higher, is what you're saying.
This feels like Ben Johnson going to Chicago. Everybody felt like that was going to work.
The vibes are good. The vibes are very good, and we're open for your phone calls, 615-737-1045. What did you like about what Robert Saleh said yesterday? Open for your phone calls and more from the head coach yesterday. Coming up.
You may have some big milestones coming up in this new year, man. Probably getting engaged, celebrating a big anniversary. Well, Genesis Diamonds is ready for you. After a record-breaking year in 2025, Genesis is fully stocked for the new year with a massive selection of exquisite diamonds, designer rings, all the latest fashion jewelry, and, of course, the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Genesis is the go-to place for all things jewelry here in the city. Genesis has the highest possible standards, full transparency, price integrity, uncompromising quality, and the customer service that doesn't come from a policy manual. It comes from the heart. At Genesis, the non-commissioned experts are there to help you, to guide you, to show you all your options, to show you how to maximize your budget with no pressure, no games, and no nonsense. At Genesis, they are not just another jewelry store. They are the industry leaders with unbeatable value, exclusive brands, and warranties and guarantees other jewelers will never offer you. So for that memorable moment in 2026, just know, get to Genesis and they will hook you up. You can learn more at genesisdiamonds.com.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Are you tired of surprise breakdowns and emergency repairs on your home systems? Well, Lead Company Plus gives you a smarter way to care for your home. For as little as $14 a month, Lead Company Plus members receive 4 annual inspections for their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Plus, members receive up to 20% off on every visit and have access to exclusive discounts and promotions. You can learn more online at leadcompany.com/plus. That's platinum home protection that starts with a Lead Company Plus membership. And hey, that may hit a little bit closer to home this week with how much our power's been out with the heating systems that we now know what it's like when they're not totally working the way they're supposed to. So get Lead Company Plus, just $14 a month and 20% off on every visit, access to exclusive discounts and promotions. You can learn more online at leadcompany.com/plus. That's Lead Company, all you need. Kick it off your Friday morning here on Ramon and Will. Brent Hubs of AllQuest coming up in a half hour. Belmont head coach Casey Alexander ahead of their matchup with Murray State at 8 o'clock. And Ron Slay at 9:20. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045 and open phone lines on your thoughts after Robert Saleh's introductory press conference. Angel is in Clarksville up next. What's up, Angel?
What's going on, Big Will, Big Ragu? What to do?
Good morning.
What up, Angel? Brought you out of the woodworks this morning, huh?
Man, look, I'm back to working in Hendersonville, so y'all gonna get a whole lot more of me like when I was working in Cool Springs.
I like it.
Got you.
Good to hear your voice again.
Hey, man, look, I'm gonna leave you two quick little things. I really want to hear your thoughts on it. I think, first off, I think the Roberts, the Dayball hire more important than the Salah hire, to be honest. I think we need somebody that can call the offense, like a competent offense. I need somebody that ain't going to take Derrick Henry out on 3rd and 1. You know what I'm saying? and I know I'm going back. And then second off, man, as far as the running backs, man, what we going to do about these running backs? Because I don't think these two boys is it. I think we need a legit number one. I don't think these free agents that's coming out, I don't think we really got a lot to choose from, even though we got a lot of money. Man, love y'all boys, man. I'm going to hang up and listen, man.
Thank you, Angel. Appreciate the call. Dayball hire more important than the Robert Saleh hire, Ramon?
Yeah, because here's the no. The head coach is the most important part. The role that he'll play as far as the success you see on the field, I think with Dayball, initially needs to be more important. Cool.
Fair.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because
100%. I would agree.
to me, I think to answer that question, it goes to what Robert Saleh was saying as far as like watching by Monday what the staff is going to look like. I think it is crucial for Brian Daboll to bring in a young up-and-comer, the same way that Robert Saleh had mentioned in one of his responses, to what the carry-on and what this offense can be.
For sure.
We've talked about that, you know?
Yeah, I
Who
agree.
are you leaving behind, Brian Daboll, if you get a new head coaching job?
And then the question about running backs, look, if anyone who's tuned in the last couple of weeks knows where I stand, I'm going and paying Breece Hall at the top of the running back market. I think Kenneth Walker is another great option. I think Rico Dowdle is a very solid option. I do think there's a tier of running backs where you would bring that guy in to be the unquestioned one, and you may go ahead and move on from Tony Pollard because you have no dead money if you wanted to get out of that contract for this upcoming season against the salary cap. Mm-hmm. I also think there's a tier of running backs that you could hang on to Tony Pollard as someone who is a pro, who you know is a good locker room player, who you know is going to give everything he's got for 17 weeks. He's largely going to be available and not hurt. I think he's a durable guy. I know that changes as you get later in your career, but to me, if you added someone like Rico Dowdle, who's not been a one yet, who really in a lot of ways is kind of similar to where Tony Pollard was when he left Dallas, like just burst on the scene and kind of went from 2 to 1, and now are you ready to be a 1? I'd be fine keeping Tony Pollard and having a 3-headed monster between Pollard, Tajay Spears, and a guy like Rico Dowdle as well. So I do think you're going to see them address running back in free agency, if I had to guess.
Whoever it is, it's got to be a workhorse, right? Because looking at what he just left, Brian Daboll just left in New York with Scatterboo, right? And then you also look at the amount of rushing yards that his offense usually have in general, being that Cam's not a big runner. Like, you got to have a bell cow. And, of course, here's the other part about the bell cow part, too. The offensive line and tight ends play a part in that role as well. You know, like Tony Pollard had some good years because that offensive line in Dallas was also very good. You know, Derrick Henry has some good years because why? The offensive line here in Nashville was really good in that era too. They all work together. But having the talent at that position also matters. I'm with you. I don't think you have to kick out Tony Pollard.
Agreed.
Do you evaluate hard? Yes. You're always looking to get better if there's somebody there that you feel is better for your system.
As much as they speak about wins are built on people and we want good people, Tony Pollard is good people. In the locker room and on the football field. He's the kind of guy that you want your young players to emulate and to be like as they get older in the NFL. And I think that also could free up Tajay Spears to be more of a receiving back and be more of a pass catcher. I just think you need 3 running backs today in the NFL.
You absolutely do.
I would not mind at all adding one. Or even if you feel like you you do get rid of Pollard and bring in a Breece Hall type, then is Khalil Mullings ready to be that third back? We'll see. I love this yesterday from Robert Saleh on how you are going to feel this team sitting on the couch. Some motivational stuff yesterday from the Titans head coach.
Already said it, man. They're going to pop off the tape. You're going to feel like you're on the field with them with the energy, the juice, the speed, the violence. You're going to feel it from the living room. Sitting on your couch, you'll be able to feel this football team.
All right. Talk to me, Coach.
That's big stuff.
I'm curious your feeling on that if you were a Titans player, Ramon. Because fans love stuff like that, obviously. And this is an easy way to win the press conference. But if you are in year 7 playing right guard for the Tennessee Titans and standing in the back of that room, how motivating is that to you, hearing that?
I would say this. It's not even the motivation part for me. It's the expectation. That's as a player, that's where I'm at. For a fan, you want to run through a wall after hearing that. As a player, you know what I'm thinking is, y'all, it's gonna be hell, and it should be. No, and I mean it. Like when he say that means you're gonna have a hard physical training camp.
Sure.
That means the expectation of you finishing each and every play comes a part of your job. You can't just run to the pile and just tag off. No, you got to run to the pile and hit somebody. Every play is a finish. So your mindset more than anything, is not just, hey, yeah, they're going to feel us. No, there's a process in which that has to happen. There's a lot of effort in having your fan base and your ownership and everybody involved in liking the Tennessee Titans feeling that. And that comes through a lot of hard work, bumps and bruises, hard days. Well, hell, that's what I think of. But here's the thing. He's already laid that out for everybody what the expectation is. If you soft, this ain't going to be for you.
J.C. Latham tweeted yesterday that quote, said, I want you to feel the energy of this team coming through your living room TV on Sundays. And he sent 3 of the steam coming out of your nose emojis. With
But here's the thing, though. With success, players love that. That's why JC is, that's why he felt that tweet. Where did he come from in college and then high school? He comes from high pressure, environments.
IMG Academy in Alabama.
And that's why I think he enjoyed that, because he knew in his past career that led to success.
What did Robert Saleh learn from his first stint as a head coach? The big headline from yesterday's introductory press conference, and you'll hear his answer coming up next.
7:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. New Titans head coach Robert Saleh was introduced yesterday and showed his intensity as a coach as he talked about what he wants his Titans team to be in just 2 words.
Fast and violent, man. Play in and play out. We're going to play with speed. We're going to play confident. We're going to have some swag. Talk a little... But I want them to show who they are, play in and play out. And like I said, the one thing that you'll notice is the speed at which we play and the violence at which we do it.
Another NFL news last night, Eagles are hiring Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion as their offensive coordinator. Mannion, 33, was still playing quarterback in the league just 2 seasons ago. Now he's an NFL offensive coordinator and expected to call the offensive plays in Philadelphia. In Atlanta, the Falcons have their new general manager and Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham. The Falcons also are expected to release quarterback Kirk Cousins in March per The Athletic. Cousins will be 38 years old, heading into his 15th NFL season. And last night, the Nashville Predators fall in overtime 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier nets the game winner just 42 seconds into the extra period, but the Preds still pick up a point. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to hour number 2 on your Friday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Glad you are with us. Hope you'll stick around. 615-737-1045 is our number as we congratulate you and welcome you on reaching the end of your week. The end of a long week that has felt a little bit like a month. Robert Saleh met with the media yesterday, and we think he crushed it. Winning the press conference just means that you won the press conference, but I think he certainly did yesterday, Ramon.
Yeah.
And he was asked a lot and gave a similar answer pretty much every time he was asked a lot about his experience as the head coach of the New York Jets. Right off the top, Robert Saleh asked about what did he learn. He says, well, what did I not learn?
You know, I'll be honest, like, there's no handbook to a first time at anything you do, you know. And what I would say, the proper question would be, what didn't I learn? You know, and there's so much to gain from any time you're in the chair as a head coach, and there's so many learning experiences that I had. So I can sit here and talk to you for the next 4 hours about all those different things, but I can assure you that there was tremendous growth through the opportunity that I had with the Jets, and through that growth, I think I'm more prepared now than I've ever been to attack this position.
Ramon, I'm curious from the player's perspective, how much does experience matter to that locker room and to the players that Robert Saleh is going to introduce himself and make a first impression to over the next couple weeks and months?
I think it's at the top of the list for them. Something to believe in. I think there's a lot of hope and, just hope under Callahan this last time around, and wanting to watch it, Brian Callahan, wanting to watch it be, what you thought it could be, however you got to the end of it. But he's never done it before. You've never seen him do it in real time. So the players were, probably in a lonely place just as he was, trying to figure this thing out. Hearing Jeffrey Simmons, we can use context to that now, because Jeffrey Simmons spoke on Bussin' with the Boys with Taylor Lewan and them about this, right?
It's a tough stray for Will Compton.
My bad,
Taylor Lewan and them.
Taylor
That's crazy.
and Will Compton. My bad, my fellow undrafted brother. But what Jeffrey Simmons said on there, though, was they were seeking for leadership. They were seeking for a method on how to go about being an NFL team. Jeff had seen this before. So hearing him say, he didn't like praise going to people that hadn't earned it. Well, coach probably don't understand that. Robert Saleh probably didn't understand that with the Jets the first time around. How to, congratulate your team and give them, the confidence. This time, you look at where this group is with a young quarterback, and everybody expect that young quarterback to be good and want him to be good too, right? So there's that side of it. Robert Saleh understanding how to speak to grown men, how to demand hard work out of them without belittling them, demeaning them, and making them feel less than they are, or they're just numbers or employees. Well, that goes a long way. And it's more than, he mentioned this too, is more than just hey, how I feel about you as a player. I'm worried and concerned about your family. I'm worried and concerned about you as a human being. If you have a weight problem, bro, let's talk about this. I work out all the time. Bro, if you're trying to put weight on, I know how to do those types of things too. Oh, you got family issues. I have those as well. Like, there's a lot that go into you being a head coach and having somebody that's got the confidence to do it and the understanding of it as well. I talk more to you guys about Coach Tomlin, my personal relationship, than I do coaching. Well, it's because you got to learn that. You got to know who you're dealing with as a team. And I think this team, as young as it is, as much losing as it's had, and well, just as embarrassed if they've been too. You got a coach that's dealt with that same embarrassment, that understand what you need as an organization.
Yeah, it's fair. I think, too, the thing that really sticks out to me about Robert Saleh is his connection with players on both sides of the ball. We've heard a lot about this, Ramon, from 49ers offensive players like Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, who were very complimentary of Saleh in San Francisco. We've heard Nick Wagner of ESPN come on the show and say he has been more accessible to the starters and the backups his second time around as the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator. Here's where I think some coaches go wrong, Ramon, in the NFL. I think it is easy for a lot of coaches to relate to their type of player. Meaning, if you are a quarterback guru head coach, I think it's really easy for you to walk in the quarterback room and command respect. Speak the language of the quarterbacks in your room. I don't think there's a room Robert Saleh could walk in and not command respect. Meaning, I think Robert Saleh could walk in the wide receivers room and have those guys sitting up straight and looking him in the eye and speaking the same language, the same way he will when he walks in the defensive line room. I think there are coaches in this league, and when you go the quarterback guru route, man, the same respect as they do when they walk in the quarterback's room. Is that fair?
That's very fair.
And that's where I think that's some of the risk you take in a guy like Mike McDaniel and guys that can draw up plays in a dark room in the facility, but can you speak to the linebackers the same way that you speak to the quarterbacks? I think that's especially true with the type of quarterback that Robert Saleh has inherited in Cam Ward. I think those two guys speak the same language. We've talked a lot about the kind of coach that's going to get the most out of Cam Ward. I think a coach that's willing to spar a little bit with Cam Ward also is going to get the most out of him. And quite literally, both on the field, and I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit of trash talk between plays on the field.
No doubt.
I think you're going to see Robert Saleh match the intensity level and match the alpha mentality that Cam Ward has.
And that's going to be, it should be a beautiful process. You want to hear what's so hilarious about, I was laughing as you was giving your take on that, because you talk about coaches that can't fake it, or, that can speak the same language and know how to navigate a room, man. One thing I would tell y'all is this, when it comes down to professional athletes, is there's a lot of understanding and knowledge that's been gained over the years. Like, sometimes I've seen players know just as much, if not more, than coaches. Or they have to question the problems or the scenarios that you're putting them in. We had this one particular coach a couple of years where it was a running joke between the running backs, the offensive line, the quarterbacks, and just everybody that was a part of that side of the ball, to where we knew he didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Like, I don't know how you got this job.
That's crazy.
I get it. But but like, to your point, like, players know how to sniff that out. Like, we used to call that guy the village idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he was viewed to the players in the room. So I just always want to give perspective to fans that aren't inside of that building on how knowledgeable and how smart even some of the biggest crash outs on teams are. Like, when a guy is not fit for the job, or no, you need to respect this guy because he's him. I
don't want to totally disparage Brian Callahan on the way out.
And I wasn't speaking about him.
No. I know that. I'm not saying you were.
Okay.
But I think for me, the perception I have at least is that is a challenge for coaches with Brian's background to walk in defensive meeting rooms and have the same gravitas and just built-in respect, maybe, of defensive players. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching there, but to me, I think Robert Saleh, just the way that he's wired, is going to walk in the room and have an easier baseline to start from, because I think he speaks the languages of more players on this roster than maybe Brian did in his time here.
You know what sucks with Coach Brian Callahan, though? One, he's a great human being. So
He 100%
is Robert
is.
Saleh,
Yep.
too, right?
Yep.
The problem for him is he got this team at a very broken point, and he tried to appease them, I think, a little bit too much while trying to learn.
And,
Is that
and again,
fair?
too, I think it is fair. I do think he was more of a rah-rah guy
And he had to be I
behind
feel
the
like.
scenes
Yeah.
than what he showed publicly. I think he was just really open and enjoyed talking and enjoyed being a good dude. Like, you can be a nice guy and behind the scenes totally switch. I just think that it is a built-in challenge for any quote-unquote quarterback guru, offensive, I work with quarterbacks guy to walk in and be able to look Jeffrey Simmons eye to eye and immediately have the level of, I think, respect that Robert Saleh does day one. I mean, they're wired closely kind of the same way.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's unfair to say that quarterbacks are wired very differently sometimes and need to be handled with care differently than the rest of the roster. It's not a dig at Brian Callahan. It's not a dig at guys like Mike McDaniel. And some coaches have to earn it. And again, Kyle Shanahan earned that with his defensive players. I think he sets the tone in a significant way. I think Sean McVay's the same way.
Yep.
I think he's got a little bit of an edge to him that he maybe shows a little bit too much. Is on the other extreme in the media. I just think that Robert Saleh is starting from a really good place and is going to have the attention and the respect of that room day one.
You feel like it's Jeff saying, hey, Coach, what can I do for you?
Yeah, and I hope I laid that out.
I know what you mean. The way I see those two scenarios are, I feel like Callie was trying to, hey, what do you guys need from me? And instead, watching those guys' reaction and how they tweeted about Saleh yesterday, it was, Coach, when you need us. Like there was a different mindset, I think, with what he was presenting now.
And it feels like Robert Saleh is going to tell them what they need, not ask them what they need.
Exactly. And those players want to go in there and do those things. And here's the thing about it. All of this has to show itself in real time on the football field, too. But again, here's the first and I think most important part of it all. If he gets them to buy into the messaging, moving forward, if you get the right talent in, everything else takes care of itself. And the other part I heard somebody say, you also, I'll say this too, some people, Robert Saleh might eventually rub people the wrong way, and a good reason, because there's a level of ego that you have to have with this job. And I think quietly as people look at his confidence, he's got it. But here's what I would tell you. Any successful person has that. And you got to find yourself in their world and how to adjust to it personally and not take it personal.
Brent Hubs of AllQuest joins us coming up next. Tennessee basketball with a big one tomorrow night against Auburn. Brent Hubs with notes on recruiting, football, wait staff, and weight room stuff going on. All that and more with our good friend Brent Hubs of AllQuest after this. Friday morning on Ramon and Will continues as the ice melts and we get back to normal here in Middle Tennessee. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, pleased to be joined at this time every Friday by our good friend Brent Hubs of On-Quest and On3. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Hey, Hubs. I'm doing outstanding. What's going on, guys? How is everybody?
We're good. We all have power again. Ramon's back in studio again. We are happy to be here and warm, Brent.
Well, I'm happy for you guys, and certainly our thoughts and prayers have been with everybody out that way this week. I know it's been a really, really long week for everybody, and I hope everybody's starting to find some normalcy and a little bit of melting. And I know there's a lot of work to be done for everybody assessing damages and everything else that's going on. So certainly our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in the mid-state, and hope it gets to feeling somewhat like normal soon. And who knows, maybe someday we'll see sunshine and temperatures in the 50s.
No doubt.
Maybe. I mean, Ramon, if you can win an award, maybe we can have the potential to get back to 70 or 80 degrees at some point.
40 under 40,
at least man. 40 degrees, maybe, right?
40 degrees, maybe. You know.
Hey, Ramon, is that an award for like accomplishments under 40, or is that an award for working 40 hours in 40 weeks? Which way does that
go? Both of them.
Why not both?
I want both.
That's well played.
Here I was about to try to have a good time with you. You flipped it on me quick. You got me before I got you, Hubs.
I am having a good time. I mean, at some point, Larry Stone's probably going to put us in couples therapy for the fall, but in the meantime, we'll have a good time, right?
And that's where I was going. Speaking of couples, man, because we've had Mike Wilson, we've had Grant Ramey on this week. And listen, that might be something you have to sit them down and try to figure out who's who. Because I told him the good words that you said about Mike Wilson. He was like, oh, that's awesome. Then he comes on this show and said basically that Grant Ramey is his work wife.
Yes. And then I get a text from Grant saying, I need to right some wrongs. When can I come on your show?
Listen, man, we don't need to do that much therapy on this
That's
show.
Right.
Although I'm a little bit worried, maybe I'm out. Maybe I need to be nicer to you, Ramon. Maybe I'm gonna get a text from you that says, "Hey, we're just gonna go in a different direction."
Not even close. They can't give me canned goods like you do, okay?
Canned goods.
They can't do that.
That's right.
I love it, Hubs, man. Appreciate you coming on and acting the fool with me. I know.
Absolutely. It's the only way to live.
That's right. Brent, as we look at more about the new strength program, nutritionist that was announced as well, I know you wrote about this as it pertains to George McIntyre. Walk us through, if you will, just the familiarity George has with the new nutritionist and kind of going through that recruitment process and how significant this offseason weight program is for George as he looks to bulk up a little bit.
Well, it's very important for George. I mean, he's got to get bigger and stronger, and he knows that. And the new nutritionist was at LSU and is, talked about the plan that they would have for him when he was at LSU, if he went to LSU. And he was obviously very comfortable with that plan and very comfortable with her. But, with Derek Owens, the new strength coach, I mean, he's in charge of everything. His tentacles are on everything with this. And that's been very evident from just a little over a week on the job. He and Miss O'Connor have had a lot of discussion about not just individual weight plans, but just overall nutrition with the team. Where do they think they need to be? How do they adjust what's served in the cafeteria? How do they just adjust other things that they do to aid in nutrition, whether it's education, whether it's protein shakes and all the other stuff that you're doing these days, all the scientific part of it. And then Owens has also had, believe it or not, he's had individual meetings with every player on the team already to kind of get to know them, start building a relationship, and to move forward with some, individual dialogue about their individual personal growth as a student athlete. And he's big on relationships, apparently, from what everybody says, and feels like if you have those relationships, then the accountability factor is different. And it's a little easier to crawl up in somebody if you need to, because they know what each other are going through. So he's been very hands-on to start here for Tennessee.
Brent, it's so interesting, too, how Josh Heupel has tried to address not only the physical toughness, but clearly the mental toughness piece of this. And we spoke on the day after the Music City Bowl about Tennessee's got to get tougher this offseason, and false starts against Georgia and penalties at untimely moments and turnovers and third and longs. How big of a priority does that feel to you, Brent? Not just the physical side of this, but just this football team getting mentally tougher than they were with a really young group last year.
Well, I think it's a huge priority, and I think if you go back, I mean, Josh Heupel referenced it post game after Vanderbilt, post game after Illinois, both those losses, talking about all the little things you have to do every day, the commitment you have to make, and how much tougher you've got to get. And we've talked about it. Ramon and I have talked about it too. I mean, this program's got to finish. They got to be better finishers, and that's a finish on a play, finish on a drive, finish on a quarter, a half, a game, a season. They have to be better finishers if they're going to get to where they want to get to. That's what they've got to do, and I think that stuff starts with what you're doing right now with your off-season conditioning program. That's where you start to build that, and I think that's what Josh Heupel's trying to accomplish with the changes that he's made with his strength staff and obviously on the defensive side of the ball as well.
We're joined by Brent Hubs of All Question on 3 this morning. Hubs, you brought up something, man. I want to take you to my social media algorithm for a second, because I've seen it up close and personal with the Vols interaction with one another, man, as far as player to player. But there's a perception out there in this NIL era with players being able to live in their own world and, not necessarily have roommates and be together and bond together. Hubs, I didn't necessarily see that being the case for this team, man. How do you speak on relationships? You talk about the wait staff and player to player inside of that building, because I actually see them be around each other and having conversations with one another, even though they may not live in the same house. How much has that changed with NIL, Hubs?
Well, I think it's something that you have to be mindful of and you have to really plan for. And it's something this team talked about last offseason. And I think it worked for them. That didn't get the results that they wanted, but I don't think their losses had to do with guys not fighting for each other, not caring for each other, and not laying it on the line for each other on the field. Now, I think they got to be more physical. I think they got to be mentally tougher as a collective unit. But I think one of the things they did last offseason is they really forced and really got guys going to where they went and had meals together and they got to know each other in different positions. Linebacker would go out with offensive linemen and running backs would go out to dinner with defensive backs and really work to get along with each other and get to know each other. And you're trying to figure out everybody's why. And I think when you had the old dorm life, that was easier to do. It was easier to get to know who your teammates were and sort of what made them tick and what pushed their buttons, and good and bad, if you will. In this day and age, that's harder to do, and I think you have to be more mindful of that. Tennessee was mindful of that this past offseason. I think they will continue to do that. I think that's something that Jim Knowles will do a lot with his defense, because there's a lot of new parts there. Offensively, they should be pretty cohesive from a relationship standpoint because they all know each other. There's so many guys coming back. That should help there, but they've really got to work on some of that stuff defensively, in addition to what you're doing in the weight room and what you're doing with conditioning.
One of those guys that have helped it out, man, is Arion Carter. I saw actually had heard first person that he was having toe surgery from the turf toe, man. What does his timeline look like? And I'm sure that also played a part into his, unsubmitting his paperwork from the NFL draft. Hubs. What's the expectation, I guess, for him this spring and summer?
Well, I don't think he'll do anything this spring, but I think he'll be good to go this summer. And, Arion's never had and has not had many full off seasons since he's been in college, which has probably, hurt him a bit because he's had the shoulder stuff and everything else. I mean, last year it was a shoulder that he was rehabbing until he was up until basically June that he was back at 100%. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the exact timeline is on this. I think you're probably looking at 6 to 10 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. You're not going to put him out there for anything in spring practice. So he'll be an observer trying to learn Jim Knowles' system and put himself in a position that he should be ready to go when you get to, May heading into June. He should have a full summer and be ready to go when August gets here. But that toe's the reason he pulled himself out of the draft, because he just was not going to be able to compete, test and do all the things he wanted to do to improve his draft stock. And that was just, they rested the toe in hopes that it would get better throughout the month of December, and it just did not improve well enough on its own, and they decided that surgery was the best route for him.
Brent Hubs of AllQuest, our guest for his weekly visit here on Ramon and Will. Brent, is there a position group you are still questioning or want to watch most closely this offseason? With all the turnover on defense, it feels like there are a lot of different directions you could go with it between secondary and edge rusher and D-line, all these things. Where are you most interested to watch position battles unfold this offseason and through the spring?
Quarterback, defensive tackle, defensive end, corner, nickel, safety. How's that go for you?
It's perfect. Perfect. I asked that question to Austin this week of what's the non-quarterback position that kind of intrigues you the most at this point?
It's a great question. And listen, you say those things, you go, man, Tennessee's got a lot of issues. Everybody in the country has questions at multiple positions. I think for me, it's probably defensive end if you really point it down and say what position. Who's going to get to the quarterback? I know what Ty Redmond can do. I think he's only going to get better. They brought in the Caden Lee kid who started in the SEC at Auburn. They've had such good success with transfer corners. You feel like that's probably going to be okay, right? They brought in a guy at safety who is a all-conference type performer in the Big Ten, and TJ Metcalf. So you feel like they've got some experience back there with some guys. Where are they off the edge? Chaz Coleman is a guy with potential, but he's not as proven as Caden Lee is at corner or Metcalf is at safety. Got a lot of potential, but he hasn't proven it yet. My question for them is, what does the end position look like, and how effective are they at affecting the quarterback? So that's probably where I would start in terms of maybe the most intrigue or biggest question I have as Jim Knowles starts to build this defense.
Brent, switching gears to a little bit of hoops as Tennessee gets ready to host Auburn tomorrow and try to finish off a perfect week. If you told me last Friday when we talked to you that we'd be talking about a 2-0 road swing for Tennessee, I would have been very pleasantly surprised. What was your biggest takeaway from the way they won these last two games?
They need Nate Ament for 40 minutes, not just the second half Nate Ament. I mean, thankfully the second half Nate Ament's carried Tennessee, and he played well in the first half against Alabama, I should say that. But he was not effective enough in the first half against Georgia. He needs to be more effective. Tennessee's got to finish. They've still got to finish better offensively. Their defense has been good down the stretch the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, but offensively it's kind of disappeared on them. They have got to figure out a way to execute better in possession-by-possession games on the offensive end. They got multiple stops consecutively to close out the Alabama game. If they'd have scored a time or two in the last 5 minutes, that game would have been a lot more comfortable. If they'd have scored a couple of times in the last 5 minutes against Georgia, we would have never seen overtime. So they've got to be able to close out games on the offensive end better. But this team's showing grit. This team's showing some toughness, and I do think this is a team that's getting better. And they got a heck of a challenge coming up on Saturday night because Stephen Pearl will have Auburn, ready to run through a wall, and Tennessee's got to get themselves ready to play. And what you learn when you watch the SEC, whether I don't care if it's men's basketball or women's basketball, you better show up every night. And Tennessee's got to show up Saturday night in a big way because Auburn will be ready. But I do think this is a basketball team that's getting better. That was a pivotal week. I think when we look back at the end of the year and see where this basketball team is, I think we will circle last week, Will, and what Tennessee got done on the road as a big stepping stone for their growth towards the postseason.
On the baseball diamond, man, where is Lindsey Nelson at right now as far as renovation and expectations for this Vols team, man? I know there's no Tony V, of course, and there's adjustment right there with Elander and everything that's involved with it, Hus, but I got a feeling his expectation is still very much the same, and they still recruited at a very high rate. So there's got to be, a lot of buzz around them still, Hubs.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is a roster that's loaded with talent. It's got to come together. They've got guys who can play in multiple spots, so they're going to spend some time in February kind of figuring out wherever all the pieces fit the best. They've got some young pitchers who are really going to have to, come on and develop and get ready for SEC play. That'll be a focal point for them on the mound as well. But there's plenty of excitement around Josh Elander's team. I think this team still carries the culture that they've had in the locker room. I think that culture was more than just one person in Tony Vitello. I think Tony would tell you that as well. So I think there's a belief that this team knows how to win. This team's going to do it the way they've been doing it in this program for a long time, which includes Josh Elander being hands-on in that, along with Ross Kivett and others. As for the renovations for the stadium, man, they're gonna be bolting some stuff down. It looks like on opening day at this point. I mean, the weather's not being the most helpful. They're getting there, and they're working on finishing out the suites. They'll make it, and they always make it for these things. They'll still work in the weeks following to tidy up a few things, but they've got to get some cleanup done here in the next week or so, and get a little more paving done leading up to the ticket gate. But it's beautiful, and it's going to be a fantastic venue that I think fans are going to love, and it's really starting to take shape. But man, there's probably 30 or 40 work trucks surrounding that stadium every day of guys going in and doing different things. So it's going to be a great place when it's done, and people are going to love it come opening day. Hopefully we'll get a tour of it that week if they can get enough screws into the ground for everything, which they will. But it's always this way with a project. I mean, you go back to things they were doing at Neyland Stadium last fall. I mean, they were working week of the game right up till kickoff, and that'll be the way it is going up to first pitch. A little warm weather would help those guys and get some work done. The weather's not been great. It's not going to be great the next week, but at least a lot of it's inside work with the suites now. That helps them as well.
Hubs, of all the renovations I've seen and stuff I've never knew about, I just need one tour. You want to go tour Lindsey Nelson? Put me into the millionaire suites inside of Neyland. I know they're called the Founder Suites, Hubs, but I mistakenly stopped on the second floor going up to the press box. I said, "What floor is this?" I saw rolled leather couches. I smelled like musk coming out of the airwaves
Rich
and
mahogany.
stuff. Rich mahogany and the best hardwoods. Hubs, I gotta get a tour, man. You know somebody.
Buddy, we're not allowed up there. you and I both need to. We should have been in the 20 for 20 club or the 30 for 30 club to get into those things, brother. Yeah. I haven't seen them either. So if you can pull your strings, since you're an award-winning person on campus now, maybe you can get me in for a tour.
Things are different now. You're right. I got to talk to my people. Maybe
we just need to call Trey Smith. He can get us.
There it is. I actually spoke to him a couple weeks ago. He's 40 under 42. Two of us.
I know. Maybe his 40 under 40 fast pass looks different than ours, right?
Well, you've got 40% of an offensive line with the two of you as well.
Yes, we do.
By UT Math.
We might cook.
Brent Hubs of VolQuest joins us.
Well done, Will Bowling.
Thank you.
That puts you on a track to be in the 50 for 50.
That's right. I need all the years I can get, Brent. Brent Hubs of VolQuest joins us Fridays at 7:20. Read the War Room at VolQuest.com every Friday. We appreciate you as always, Brent. Thanks so much.
Hubs.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Brent Hubs of VolQuest, presented by our friends at Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. Best of the best.
The best of the best.
Coming up, there was a tweet yesterday from an NFL national reporter that, again, I triple-taked on almost as much as I did when Shedeur Sanders was made a Pro Bowler. I'll tell you what tweet it was and the info that we, for some reason, got coming up. Wrapping up hour number 2 on Ramon and Will. Another fast-moving Friday here on the program. He is 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins at the controls. Belmont head coach Casey Alexander going to join us in 15 minutes as the Bruins get ready to host Murray State. A battle at the top of the Missouri Valley standings in Nashville this weekend. We'll talk with him coming up here in 15 minutes. Ramon, sometimes there are tweets from national NFL reporters that I've got to double check if they're real or not.
No doubt about it.
That happened again yesterday. Adam Schefter says the NFL has officially appointed influential storyteller Dar Mann as its first ever Chief Kindness Officer and Creator of the Week for Super Bowl 60.
What?
Chief Kindness Officer.
Chief Kindness.
Because that's what you think about, Ramon, when you think about football, is kindness.
Hold up now. The NFL, wait a minute. Hold up. Why are we making this role? I don't even understand this. Like, you're going to San Francisco. Like, there's a lot of love to be had out there. Number one, and it's the Super Bowl. It's going to be so many meetups and everybody's enjoying themselves. Like, you don't have to designate somebody for this position the way I look at this, Will.
What is it?
How much is it paying?
Chief
Can I be a
Kindness
part
Officer.
of it, dude?
You get paid in money or kindness.
Care and love.
It better be greenbacks no matter what, okay? Like, legal tender is what I need. Jeez, who was the guy again?
It's probably Bitcoin.
Dar Mann.
With an H. I'm looking at it right now. Who the heck is-
Darmann. Wikipedia tells me he is an American entrepreneur, so influencer, and film producer. Has his own studios, video production company that creates short scripted videos primarily distributed on platforms such as YouTube. I also, why do we need an opening ceremonies also of the Super Bowl? That's what Green Day is performing at.
Yeah, exactly. This
It's not
brother,
the Olympics.
he looks like an AI-generated person looking at him. I'm dead serious, man. That man got that look comb over that he's got going backwards. He's got a shirt with bacon collar, you know what I'm saying? Like uncooked bacon collar
Bacon
around
collar,
it.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the loose bacon around your collar.
I have
like
no clue what you're
it's a
talking
commercial out there for that. Dawn follows Dar Mann. What the heck?
So the question is, who should be 104.5 The Zone's Chief Kindness Officer?
Oh, I got
So
it.
here's the purpose of it: to encourage fans to lead with compassion and positivity. So who most exemplifies compassion and positivity here is the question.
I got the answer. Y'all ain't gonna like it.
Okay.
Besides me. I got it. Eki Bob.
I knew, and that was exactly where my brain went. Was Chief Kindness Officer of 104.5 The Zone is Eki Bob.
Easily Bob, man. He greets everybody at the lives anyway, like easily, lightly spoken, great ideas come from him often. He knows how to handle each group that comes in on remotes that we have. Like, yes, that's Bob, man. He's the Chief Kindness Officer for 104.5 The Zone.
I feel like of the hosts, honestly, you would be a good pick for Chief Kindness
I can be
Officer.
a jerk at times.
Everybody love everybody.
It just feels like it's easier to know who's not going to be the Chief Kindness Officer.
Who's not? Go on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Buck Rising. That's right. Wow. There's no
Did
doubt
we just
about
become
that.
best friends?
Yep.
I feel like Dawn Davenport would be a good Chief Kindness Officer
No.
post baby Babs, as she admits, motherhood has made her soft.
Boo. I don't like that.
Dawn's still not soft in any context of the word. I'm using her words against her.
And if she's
make
getting
her Chief
driven
Kindness
around,
Officer.
if she's also chauffeured around, she'll be nice.
Dawn can be the assistant to the Chief Kindness
I
Officer.
don't know. One of the savages is my money.
Okay, all right.
One of them.
I don't know,
Both
though.
of
I mean,
them. All
because
of them.
have you heard Ron Saleh on a Trash Talk Friday?
It gets ugly.
But also, he'll make you run through a wall. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's also true.
You
too.
got- you got
I don't know if I'm
best
thinking
of both
about
worlds.
kindness, though, as I'm running through a wall.
Kindness officer.
Thinking about motivation.
Mayor would, but he'll be too happy at times. Though.
Okay.
It's just like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. All right, we got it. Bert, no, he'd be great at instructions. If we're looking at producers, too.
Bert's got too many Titans fans who hate the Ravens who make his job difficult to be Chief Kindness Officer.
Hitman can't. With a name like Hitman, I don't think he want an involvement.
Fair.
Like changing
Yeah.
the reputation.
He's
of
not
what
the kind
he is.
man.
No, he's not a kind man. He's the hitman.
Exactly.
Thank you, Hawk. Bob, first runner, I think, in that if he don't lose to me.
Yeah, I think
He's got to lose to
think
you
it might be
every
you.
day.
Rhonda on YouTube says
don't stand a
Joseph Bonanno
Zeph.
be a chief kindness officer.
No, don't let Zeph fool you with his innocence. No, absolutely. He might be innocent looking, but he's not. I've seen him go AWR, okay?
Fest Love says Alan Kirby. The F at a big chat, chief kindness officer. If you've got cigarettes, Kirby is the chief kindness officer.
If you got cigarettes, Pepsi, and a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah, that's
a
right.
lot of time on your hand. This is awesome.
If you bring Kirby Pepsi, he can be your chief kindness officer. He's our chief Pepsi officer. We can't spread him too thin.
Absolutely. And logistics.
CPO.
He's setting up the venue. I don't want to give Kirby too much on his plate. Who else are we missing, man?
Sounds like C3PO.
Nobody mentioned Lucas. Where's
Pepsis.
Lucas? Lucas just in his own world.
He's got the butt. That's his thing.
The what?
The butt. They talk about his butt all the time. That's his thing. Just leave him in the butt world.
Keep him out of harm's way.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that a point of discussion?
I don't know, but they talk about it all the time.
They do.
We don't have to. Why are we now talking about it?
I'm just saying he deserves his own little butt world over here.
Butt world? What do you mean?
He said that.
Why did that pop into your brain?
Because he don't want to put Lucas in a bad situation. Get that man put on notice. As noticeable as all Jay Hawk is saying, okay, is you don't want that for him.
What do you... I'm so confused as to why.
These might be stories off air.
Okay.
No, they happen on air often.
Preston on Twitter says, Coach Mack, chief kindness officer.
See, Mac could start getting forceful with it, though, too. He'll get back to coaching Mac. I don't know if you want, it's supposed to be, hey, if you want to, Mac could tell you what you should do. That's the difference right there is Mac could tell you need to be kind instead of allowing you to be kind.
Yeah.
Zach Lyon,
I don't know if Zach would sign up for that either.
I'm not sure. He got a podcast, football and other F words. We sure we want him leading the way on this one? And he also AI generated shaved his head bald, too.
Rhett Bryan, another good option, chief kindness officer.
Rhett is most definitely an awesome option on that. Those are just Bop. Zeph could. No, Bop and Mayer. Okay. Those are the two I think will want to sign up for that job right there. Brent Daughter, for sure.
I think we're both kind people. I think we'd be options. The thing is, you don't have a fan base that hates you the way I do. And I deserve a lot of that, to be fair.
No, absolutely not, man. You're my guy. Well, you could be. You're more nice than people give you credit for. You got RBF. That's the only thing.
I wasn't digging for that.
No.
I will accept it.
You should. You just got RBF. Like with me, I look like I'm lost or too happy at times. Like I'm too inviting, okay? You have people that be like, oh, I don't know if I should speak to him. I need that element from time to time.
Thank you.
You do? I mean, that's a compliment, to be quite honest with you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vandy Man on YouTube says Lucas is the chief food officer of 104.5.
I would most definitely have his food. I tell you who we won't go eating with. Bert.
Oh, yeah. He's had a rough go of it, hasn't he?
Ever invites me to a place, I'll never go.
Last week when he had his little stomach issues, he asked me what he should eat. I said soup. He said, so I shouldn't eat an egg salad sandwich?
Oh, no.
No.
He go to cheap places,
That's his
man.
problem.
We can't do that every time.
I guess the yoke's on him.
Go to
Belmont head coach Casey Alexander joins us next.
See me outside. It's Ramon Foster from Medical House Calls, man. It's that time of the year where we just start dealing with sicknesses and just lingering, just colds, and it just gets icky this time of the year, man. Well, I'm here to just tell you, medicalhousecalls.com is a site that you need to go to. If you just want to feel reinvigorated, where you can feel back to yourself because you've been down in the slump or the weather got you feeling a little off, well, this is who you need to go to, man. You can call or text them, and their team will assess what you need within minutes, man. They're bringing back the concierge to medicine, where you're not sitting around in germ-filled urgent care rooms, appointments that don't fit your schedule, and you got to use PTO to get off work. No uprooting your life and kids and schedule to go see a doctor. Absolutely not. Medical House Calls is the company that you want to do business with, man. For everything from IV therapy to evaluations to full exams to prescriptions if you need it. It is easy. It's seamless with no pressure whatsoever involved in this. I've personally used them myself and love what they provide to you. So to learn more, book with them, man, go to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text this number, 615-838 2375.
801, good morning. Live from the Circuit Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. New Titans head coach Robert Saleh was introduced yesterday. Saleh confirmed that he will call plays on defense, and he talked about why it's important for him to do so.
Necessarily about control, but it's about connecting with the players. You know, when you are a play caller and you are calling plays, you feel the strain that you're putting on them with each call. You're feeling the connection. You're feeling what each one is going through. And again, like I said, I can feel the weight of the play call on individual players in those moments.
In other NFL news this morning, the Steelers are expected to finalize an agreement with Patrick Graham today to be their new defensive coordinator, per Diana Rossini. He's in the building now, and Graham briefly worked for Mike McCarthy back in Green Bay in 2018. The Eagles are hiring Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. Mannion, 33, was still playing quarterback in the NFL just 2 seasons ago. Now he's an NFL offensive coordinator and expected to call the offensive plays in Philadelphia. The Falcons are also expected to release quarterback Kirk Cousins in March, per The Athletic. Cousins will be 38 years old heading into his 15th NFL season. And last night, the Nashville Predators, they fall in overtime 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier nets the game winner 42 seconds into OT, but the Preds still pick up a point. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show in hour number 3, getting started on Ramon and Will. Glad you're with us. Casey Alexander of Belmont Basketball going to join us in a matter of seconds. Still to come, Ron Slay in hour 4. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. He is the 11-year NFL vet, Ramon Foster.
Yay.
Justin Hawkins at the controls, myself, Will Bowling. And a lot of discussion on Robert Saleh's introductory press conference and all the positive vibes to this morning, Ramon.
Yes, sir.
We've got power. We've got heat for a lot of people, and we've got a new head coach.
Yes, we do. Some normalcy, as Brent Hubs said in the last hour we had with him. And that's all you're looking for, man, this time of the year. Don't get too high, Will, and better not get too low this time of the season.
That's absolutely right. As we try to connect with Casey Alexander here, Ramon, what was your favorite thing you heard yesterday in the press conference?
It was the designation of culture, starting with the coaches first. I think that's huge, is showing them what you want, how it needs to look, and why you're asking them to do certain things. And he said, he's more than anything, watch, you'll see. That's when we'll pass over to the players, and then it's their culture. And he said the best rooms that he's ever been around has been player-led cultures, but it's also got to be enforced first by the coaches. And he dropped a little Coach Tomlin line. I ain't going to lie to you. They got me in my feels when he was just like, there's a standard. The standard is the standard. I was like, oh, take me back to Pittsburgh, why don't you? Because that was a Tomlin thing. And, it's one of those cliche sayings, Will, listeners, you just say, well, of course the standard is the standard until you live it. Until you're in the room with those coaches, until you see everybody else give and say the same expectations. Like that, to me, I think is one of the biggest things that he said yesterday. Standard is a standard.
Yeah, well, what did that look like for you guys? Because that is a phrase that comes out of Pittsburgh a lot. The standard is the standard. How did Pittsburgh create and uphold that motto when in your 11 years there?
If you did listen to Buck Rising show, Nate Washington was on yesterday. And some of the same stuff that Nate said was the same stuff that we lived in. I didn't play with Nate in Pittsburgh. I heard all about him. I was told all about how he came in as an undrafted, crafted a career for himself, and turned into a big second contract guy here in Nashville, Tennessee. What that means is this, Will, when you walk inside of a locker room, and Nate said this as well, when you walk inside of a locker room, it's understood from the vets down how you operate. The rookies, the young guys, the new free agents, when they walk in, they watch everybody else move, and you understand this is a process that leads you to success. Understand that everybody has their jobs. You do your job first and foremost, and more importantly, the main thing as far as the standard, football, the game comes before anything else when you walk through those doors. Your expectation of playing hard and delivering every single day for your teammate, that's what the standard means, winning. Championships being the ultimate goal at the end of the race. That's what a standard means. That's what he means when he says a standard is a standard. Because historically, guys in front of you have laid this out for you.
Well, speaking of high standards and programs with a lot of tradition, Belmont basketball is absolutely that in the city of Nashville. They've got a big one, 1 versus 2 in the Missouri Valley Conference tomorrow night in the Curb Event Center as Belmont head coach Casey Alexander joins us to break down the matchup with Murray State this weekend. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm great. How are you?
Good morning.
We are good. We're glad to be thawing out a little bit and glad to be previewing a big one with you, Coach. What do you like about the way your team's playing right now, coming off of an 11th win away from home the other night against Valparaiso?
Yeah, we're winning. I think at this time of the year, that's what you want to see the most. You know, I'd love for us to play a little cleaner and be more consistent and, get it done from start to finish. But, you're in conference play. You're really in the thick of it. And the objective is to win, and we're doing that pretty well.
Where do you feel like your team has taken the most steps, Coach, so far this season as you sit top of the Missouri Valley, a second in the conference in scoring offense? You're right there in the top 5 in scoring defense. What are you liking about the improvement from maybe the beginning of conference play to now?
Well, we've kind of regathered ourselves defensively. We were, I think the big picture story of our team this year is we're a far better defensive team. Got off to a great start, non-conference play, really, really strong, and then we plateaued a little bit. Couple of reasons for that probably, but we've settled in and we've kind of got our groove back and now playing better on both ends. Effective field goal percentage, we're best in the country offensively, like literally number 1 in the country. And so that seems to make it pretty apparent that how we do on the defensive end will determine our long-term success.
We're joined by Casey Alexander, head coach of Belmont basketball. Coach, I have to ask you just personally, man. You guys are 19-3 currently on the season, man. 8-2 at home, 9-1 away. How you do it, Coach? And I say that lightly, but I know that's a heavy answer to give because you guys consistently answer the call. You're one of those teams that has a standard. We're speaking about that right now, and the Titans new hiring Robert Saleh. Like, you've created a standard inside of your room. To my old coach, Coach Tomlin would say, like, the standard is a standard. How, Coach, in this era, do you achieve this?
Well, it's difficult and more difficult just because of the turnover with rosters. But I think you already know the question. I mean, there are some programs in every sport at every level who have just consistency, whether it's consistency of leadership, that's probably one important piece, but it's really more like the entire building, like who's in the building, what's the campus community like in our case, what kind of support do we have, what kind of tradition do we have, are we willing to adhere to that standard that you're talking about when you're talking about who you bring in recruiting, whether that's a traditional high school kid or a portal kid or whatever, how are you going to build your roster? And there's a lot of ways to do it, but Belmont's had a niche for a long time, and we've tried really hard to stick with that formula, and the formula's worked pretty well. It's not perfect. We're always trying to get better, but overall it's been a good formula.
Man, it's Belmont, Michigan, St. Louis, and Louisville. Y'all are the only 4 programs in America to rank top 15 nationally in 2-point field goal percentage offense and 2-point field goal percentage defense. What's the buy-in, Coach, to accomplishing both of those?
Yeah, well, the offense is a lot easier in a sense that you get to choose what kind of skill set you want in recruiting, and how you're going to play. Mm-hmm. And again, that's kind of always been the strength of our team, and what we've been known for is the offensive end. So we're consistently trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, tougher on the defensive end. And the league has made us do that. The Missouri Valley, for those who don't know, I mean, it is a big boy conference, great coaching, really physical league. And we've had to adapt, and it's taken us a few years to really build a roster that reflects the league and gives us a better chance game by game. And so that's kind of where we find ourselves now.
Belmont head coach Casey Alexander, our guest. Coach, what do you enjoy most about the Belmont-Murray State rivalry, one that goes back to the Ohio Valley Conference days, of course?
Yeah, I came in on the back end of it, honestly. Belmont joined the OVC for the 2012-13 season, and Murray had dominated the league for, 40, 50 years, and so Belmont's the new guy on the block, and we spent 10 years in the OVC together. Belmont never finished worse than first or second in the OVC, and so naturally that raised some heads, and we kind of crowded the adult table, with Murray. And so it's just been a great rivalry ever since. I think I was talking to the team about it a little bit yesterday. The rivalry I love. You think about Belmont Lipscomb, for example, Nashville schools, very similar student bodies, the makeup of the program. That's what makes that a great rivalry. And Murray's, I wouldn't say we're polar opposites by any stretch, but it's very different. Their program and our program are very different, but also both very successful when you look at longevity, and that makes it a great rivalry as well.
Coach, for people who maybe haven't seen your team play or want to get out of the house after maybe being iced in a lot this week, this is a battle of the two top scoring offenses in the conference and the two top teams overall, obviously, like we mentioned. What's got to happen tomorrow night to have success against Murray State, and what challenges will they present your team? Yeah, they present a ton of challenges. They are really talented. I mean, it's I think if you allowed all the college basketball coaches to pick rosters, most of them would probably pick Murray's over ours. They've got size, they've got athleticism, they really score the ball. New coach, and it's going really, really well. So we've got our hands full. It'll be an awesome game. I mean, for anybody, whether you're cheering for one side or the other, or you just want to watch a great hoops game, it'll be entertaining. It'll be high level. There's a lot on the line, so it'll be super intense. It'll just be a great night for college basketball. I'm glad we're playing it at home, and I hope some people will come watch.
Do you have to hold the guys back on a night like this? I mean, it's Friday, Coach. Like you said, they're chomping at the bit, probably get out the house because it's been iced in, and it's a rivalry game. I love this. Where are you at, and how do you control those guys coming out the locker room?
Yeah, you don't have to build it up at all. That's the good part. The coaches are always, we're not trying to manipulate, and I try really hard just to be honest and kind of state the facts, But in this case, it doesn't need that much extra attention at all, And at the same time, I mean, I really believe it. We've got, after this is over, we've got 8 more conference games and then the conference tournament. So it's not, our season isn't going to live and die with this game. We go back to Murray in about 3 weeks, so we're going to have another chance right after this. So as big as it is, let's also keep it in perspective. Let's just play it like any other game in that sense, and then let's see a month from now where everything stands. And this game will have a lot to do with where everything stands.
See, Coach, you're a way better human than me. I'd talk a little trash right there. You did the right thing, Coach. You don't listen to me and what I thought in my head, but my football side was coming out more so than just your calm, cerebral side right there. So I appreciate you.
I've been called a lot of things, but I don't know if cerebral's one of them.
Cerebral, Casey Alexander joining us this morning. Tomorrow night, go check them out. Curve Event Center, going to be a really fun game between Belmont and Murray State. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. If you can't make it, the game on CBS Sports Network as well. Coach, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much.
Coach.
You guys are great. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Casey Alexander with us here this morning, previewing a big one. Hey, if you want to go see some live hoops tomorrow night in Nashville, that game is going to be awesome. Always is when Belmont plays Murray State, but those are two really, really good teams that got potential to be special this year in the Missouri Valley.
That's what's up, man. I do admire what he's doing. 19-3 when they're already in conference play too.
They're really good.
That's good culture. That's a good team.
I had the chance to watch their first game against Valparaiso. I did sidelines for ESPN Plus. That team is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if you've never been to a Belmont game before, you got to go check them out. They are really, really fun. Really fun. Coming up, what Robert Saleh's plan was for developing Cam Ward. You'll hear that next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, I know some of you have probably dealt with some issues as of late with this weather, with the freezes, with just a lot of overuse of the HVAC systems, or could be something electrical. I'm here to tell you that Hiller is one of the best companies around when you need a fix, man. They're just good at what they do, man, and their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. The cool part is, man, the price you told is the price that you'll actually pay with no hidden fees or surprises on your bill when you get it. Absolutely not. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated as well. Their techs, very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened as well. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech so you can track them in real time so you know when to be home. They believe this, 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be or the service is free. absolutely truthful with them, man. To learn more about Hiller, to book with him like I do, go to happyhiller.com.
Ramona Will rolls on 104.5 The Zone and Zone TV. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, 615-737-1045. Wide open for the next hour for your phone calls on Robert Saleh and the Titans. Ramon, yesterday we got Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll's plan, at least our first introduction to the plan, for Cam Ward's development. Robert Saleh asked about how do you get the most out of Cam? This was the new Titans head coach on the quarterback of on the development of his QB1.
No, absolutely. Great question, too. You know, like Cam, from everything that I've gathered, just all the discussions I've had throughout the building and throughout the league, comes with an elite work ethic, elite character, an elite person. And, you know, when you look at his body of work as a rookie, a lot of these rookies, when they come in through the middle of OTAs. But so the biggest thing that we're going to work with Cam, just going all the way back to the beginning, you know, we've gotten a whole off season to work with him, taken back to the very, very beginning, both on the field, off the field, the process at which, what it looks like to not only be a professional with regards to preparation in his body, but as a professional with regards to, preparing from a game planning standpoint or a playbook standpoint. But, you know, just talking with Dabes over the course of the last few weeks, he is the perfect man to match up with Cam and to maximize who he is. So again, we're really pumped to get to work with Cam and get him to where we all know he can be.
Ramon, we spent a lot of time in this coaching search talking about the kinds of people who will be the best fits with Cam Ward. What about Brian Daboll do you think makes him a perfect fit and the perfect man to coach Cam Ward, as Robert Saleh says there?
What I know from a distance and how it looked like he, you know, carries himself, his assertiveness, actually having a plan. It seemed like he's always got one. I think his track record speaks for that as well. I personally think that Cam is still very raw in his development and what he's capable of doing. Like everything that everybody speaks about Cam is his natural athletic ability and, you know, his drive to compete and his attitude about how he approaches work. And behind all of that, I think that is still missing is his development as a quarterback and as a professional football player as well, too. And I think that's where Daboll will end up maximizing those things if, of course, they can have that relationship we expect them to have. And I say the assertive part because I think Cam can kind of run down on people if you allow him to, kind of driving the car instead of being in the passenger seat for a while. And the respect I think that Daboll comes with, Cam has to listen to him. Although the back and forth discord, I think, is going to be there regardless.
Sure, right. I mean, quarterbacks are always going to have open dialogue with their coordinators and QB coaches.
And that's healthy, you know?
I will say this. We've spoken about this so much since Cam Ward was drafted here. Cam Ward is wired a little bit differently. None of this is negative. I think it is something to consider. I think it is something for a new staff to navigate, that they will learn, A, what Cam Ward is like when you just meet him and talk with him, but B, you really see who a player is when you see them on the practice field and see them in the meeting room and start to put that, as Robert Saleh says, elite work ethic to work. But Cam being the kind of personality that he is, the ultimate competitor, crap talker, which Salah clearly likes,
loves,
and alpha personality on offense for your entire football organization, I think Brian Daboll can match that energy. I don't think that's true of every coach. I don't think that I want to be careful in choosing my words because, again, I don't think there's a negative connotation to this. But I think there are certain personalities that are going to be able to have a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. Respect isn't the right word. Cam Ward's not going to walk all over Brian Daboll. I'm not saying he would walk all over other coaches. I'm saying that I think Brian Daboll is the kind of coach that can tell Cam sternly and honestly, Cam, sit down and listen to me and be cool.
Absolutely.
And everything we know about Brian Daboll is that he's also wired a little bit differently. I think Cam Ward can adjust his mentality and style and personality to any coach. I think when you are that eager to be coached, to practice, when you're wired the way Cam is, you can work with anybody. But I think the best fit for Cam is someone who's wired the way he is. And I think Brian Daboll might kind of have his brain wires connected the same way that Cam Ward does in terms of the alpha competitor type of personality.
It's crazy you mentioned, or I'll say it, and don't take disrespect to this, but it's funny that you tiptoe around his personality while describing him, while trying not to be disrespectful. Because here's the thing. Every successful player that I've been around and that quarterback, they are some jerks.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We're not we're not trying to be best friends.
And I say jerks in the sense of they care about their careers. Ben Roethlisberger was hard to deal with at times. With his coaches, sometimes with teammates. It's documented publicly, with how Ben and Antonio or Le'Veon or any other person, that watch these type of guys want to be successful. A.J. Brown is another one, publicly hard to deal with. You look at Jalen Hurts, hard to deal with. Patrick Mahomes, like, you'll be cool with him, right? But, like, you want that edge because at some point as they get more mature, those types of things kind of smooth themselves out. I'm just naming other guys that we've heard be like this. Aaron Rodgers is a hard person to deal with.
The one Cam reminds me most of is Kobe Bryant.
Kobe's hard to deal with.
Jordan. So, like Gordon Hayward's told a story about Kobe of, like, we had a 7 a.m. workout, just the two of us. He showed up at 7:30, didn't apologize, walked in and said, ball.
Yeah.
like that's the kind of, and Cam's not going to show up late, but that is the kind of, like, alpha mentality and competitiveness that Cam Ward brings. And I think he always needed a coach who was going to match that energy.
And that's the point of it all. Like, we've heard about Michael Jordan swinging on Steve Kerr, right, in practices of how hard he was and how demanding he was by having his teammates come to his house, his gym, to work out in the summers because he wanted to make sure everybody else was on the same level that he was at. And that's what you're describing as Cam. So I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Cam is a little bit of a jerk. Well, everybody that I know that's pressing to be great got a little bit of that in him. No, I'll be honest with you, got a lot of that in it. One of my best friends in the world, okay, and I love him like a brother. He's a brother to him, is Marquis Pouncey, okay? High strung, hard-headed, tough to deal with. We'll cuss you out. We'll talk bad about you, but it's going to love you at the same point because here's the thing about it. He wants to push you as much as he's pushing himself, and some of those people like that have a hard time communicating what it is that they're trying to say. So, yes, here's what I would say as far as watching, let's go to my GOAT, a great Jordan. Like, Jordan with that high-strung attitude had to be met with a coach that understood and how to communicate with him. Although, Phil Jackson wasn't a rah-rah yelling guy, intellectually he challenged Jordan, put him in positions to where his success came through in those moments, and that's what you're asking for as far as who you're trying to surround Cam around, right? That's Salah, matches that. From what we know about Brian Daboll, like, there's some communication stuff that he's got to fix as far as the way New York media preached to how he talks to his staff or players. But here's the thing about it. If you know what situation you're getting yourself into, and also if Daboll's in a position to correct himself on small, minute things, again, as I said before, I'm applying pressure to it, but it has to work. Mm-hmm. Not that it will.
Yeah.
But the expectation is, now this seems like y'all go together,
Right. I thought this is interesting as well from Robert Saleh yesterday of the Brian Daboll system being different from the Shanahan system, the value in that for a Titans team that is trying to zig while a lot of the league is zagging. This was Robert Saleh asked about what he has seen when facing a Brian Daboll offense.
I think it's going to work great. There's a lot of layers to this one. First off, Kyle Shanahan is one of the biggest, best offensive minds in all of football, period. And if you look at the NFL landscape right now, his offense and his influence is all over the league. Probably, I would argue, 80 to almost 90% of the league. And so Dave's is going to be different. So from a game planning standpoint, and I'm just speaking for myself, like as a defensive coach, you're going through it, just looks like every offense is the same. But when you play the Tennessee Titans, it's going to be different. And so there is a level of game planning that's going to have to change within a week. So that's first. Dave's has had a history of developing young quarterbacks in this league in college and the different stops that he's had, and he's touched many from experience to youth. He has a tremendous amount of experience with tremendous quarterbacks all over, but there's a lot of benefits to what he does as a defensive guy, game planning against Dave's. I can tell you that he's always going to strain you both run and pass. He's going to find the run-pass conflicts within your scheme for individual players. He's going to attack the shit out of it, and again, excuse my language, but he's special in that regard. He's a problem to go against.
I think it's really interesting, Ramon, about the Titans running concepts and having a system from Brian Daboll, the older Earhart Perkins New England system that is different from what Shanahan, LaFleur, even really Kingsbury as an extension of that, kind of his own branch of the tree that's a little bit different. But even the wide zone offense that Kevin Stefanski's running is an offshoot of that. I mean, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, an offshoot of all of these guys. What is the difference going to be in your mind, Ramon? Like at surface level, how do you think the Titans will be different from the Shanahan system and trying to propose different challenges?
I think it'll be matched with a little bit more ruggedness to it. Like you're going to see like normal pro sets being able to just line up with two tight ends and running the football down your throat. I think the Kyle Shanahan type of defense is more left to right first before north and south, although when they get to going north and south, it's more downhill and quick. I think you might see more power traditional on top of having the flair wheel of execution being top tier, and not just that, a plan is the way I somewhat view Brian Daboll, because the intensity that he attacked Jackson Dart with lets you know that he has to have a plan in place. And once it's off script, that's the one thing I think that I'll be watching for with him. How does he work off script, meaning when stuff doesn't go his way, he got to have other guys in? What is his level of adjustment going to be? But I think when you're asking me the difference between the two, I think the end game is the same. It's just that how I view a Brian Daboll offense is more in your face and not just side to side.
It's the philosophy has been summed up as simply as throw to score, run to win.
Yeah.
In the offense, the Titans want to run. Any offense in the world in the game of American football wants to run the ball first to set up other things. So unless you're running like Case Keenum Houston offense, throwing it 60, 70 times a game, or Colt Brennan Hawaii, like teams want to run to win first and foremost. So this system is not totally unique in that. I do think one difference, though, that's interesting from what I've heard from Brian Daboll and the way he speaks is the length of the play calls being a lot shorter. This is not the Sean Payton kind of method where you're given 15 words to give an entire play. Right. Brian Daboll, in the behind-the-scenes interview the Giants did with him when he interviewed Jayden Daniels in the draft process, heard a play from Jayden Daniels. He goes, man, I'd shorten that to 2 words. And I forget what the word, I don't know. I can't think of what 2, how long were y'all's play calls in Pittsburgh? Were y'all longer or shorter, simpler calls?
They weren't overly long, but then we got to a point where we only used 2 words. Like whenever everybody got the offense, it would be black jelly or, there you go. Brown Cadillac.
Well, what were those plays?
Black jelly's a run play belly. Run left, black left, going 27 zone. You go brown Cadillac is 74 protection, meaning quarterback got front side. We're responsible for backside blitzers or linebackers at that point. Mike is strong to the right. Our responsibility is to the left, meaning the running back got the front side backer, and we're responsible for the left side and picking up protections.
Did you prefer the shorter calls like that?
Absolutely.
So does that help you make more adjustments at the line too?
Yes, it does, because it removes all the fluff, and you can just give guys code words and stuff like that. But here's the thing. All of that has to be, to your point, opened up and then shrunk down, though, too. So we have to also understand the whole play. He just get to a point with us, and he got guys, black Cadillac. You're like, okay, 75 protection. But then the running backs and wide receivers have their own stuff on top of it. But to your point, with you shortening it up, you can also quickly adjust and pivot and audible when you need to as well. So it'd be times where he would give us a protection that's 74, but the routes that they would be running would be 60 protection, like swatches, watches. Like he go brown Rolex, and that would be a different play for us or protection for us. But the route, like Cadillac, is a big, route that's at 7. Ben liked to run in those times, so he just tell them Cadillac, and the guys would just understand the route trees, and he'd pick a wide receiver and tell them, and an option that he would give them on those plays. I prefer short all day long when it comes down to plays.
So was that based off the preference of the offensive coordinator? Because you had a couple OCs, no. You only had one head coach, or was that always?
It was just the efficiency of the offense with us trying to run more tempo as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the way it works is this. You can give trips right, zip. Trips right is the formation. Zip is the motion that you're doing. 27 zone, X peel. Like you can do a
Easy.
Y peel.
Yeah.
All of that turns into black jelly.
Wow. That's so interesting to me.
So to your point, they will have to have the whole play. But at some point in time with more cohesion, the better Cam learns it, you shrink that down so you can just be more efficient and operate at the line of scrimmage more than anything. But that's also learned. It's not a day one operation.
Robert Saleh spoke about the relationship he has with Brian Daboll, talking about the full autonomy, the discussion, how he will work with the new Titans offensive coordinator. This was Saleh speaking yesterday.
You know, obviously, Dave's and I have a tremendous relationship dating back to our time in New York. Obviously on opposite sidelines, but great empathy for one another and just going through those experiences. But you know, whenever you look at the dynamics of a head coach with his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, obviously it's no different than kind of the way Kyle kind of handled me as a defensive coordinator. You know, there's full autonomy with regards to game planning and making putting together the playbook and the scheme that's best for this group of players. But at the same time, there's always going to be discussion in terms of what it's going to take between offense, defense, and special teams, what type of game plan we need to formulate in all three phases to win a football game. And week to week, that's always going to be different. But the communication, the collaboration, the expectations, all those will always be communicated amongst the entire staff. And the idea being that while there's three phases to football, we're still one team, and those discussions will always be had.
Collaboration drop there. Hello, old friend.
Expectation.
It's that old thing again.
It got ran up a good bit, no pun intended right there. Shout out to my guy. That word did. But that's the league, though, too.
It is. I mean, it's the way it's supposed to work.
It is supposed to work like that. It is communication. And collaborating on all those things. Like that's what the training camp script is. It's a collaboration of how we're going to make each other better. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want us to run away from that word because it got ran around a good bit. Yeah. But every team is saying the exact same things when it comes down to how you set your team up for success. It's communication and being on the same page. That's what that is.
I like the personalities in the room that they've put together to coach Cam Ward. I am curious how the succession plan continues, Ramon, if they want to be different from the Shanahan tree guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you continue to double and triple down on that when Brian Daboll eventually gets a head coaching opportunity again? Because it could open up the opportunity to just keep hiring from within. Because it's hard to find coaches who haven't worked under Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, or Sean McVay, or even Mike McDaniel at this point, as a part of that offensive system.
See, here's the thing, though. I think it's rare that you absolutely scrap everything from the previous regime. I think this one does because Brian Callahan's staff is so short-lived, right? But like when Daboll comes in, and here's the thing. We keep mentioning Daboll getting another head coaching job. That means there's been a lot of success.
Absolutely. So, and there's no guarantee he will right away. It may take 2-3 years.
It might take 2-3 years.
Which would be great.
So here's the thing behind that is what Robert Saleh brought up, after answering that question initially. It's not about, when or if Brian Daboll leaves. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of who's staying behind, who's challenging the coaches to learn this offense and be better leaders and be put on the spot to lead the offensive team meetings. This is going to happen. But here's the thing. If Cam is successful, the biggest part of it all is having that I dealt with numerous offensive coordinators and name and, the role was still the same. If this offense works for Cam and is successful, 80% of it is going to stay the same. It has to.
And I think that Cam, as intense of a personality as he is, has met his match. Good. And I mean that in a good way. And I think Robert Saleh is his match in that, and they're going to speak the same language. And I think Brian Daboll definitely is too. And Daboll, we know that's been reported, tried very hard to trade up with Joe Shane to draft Cam Ward. Clearly, he wanted to work with him. We're about to see why. 615-737-1045. We mentioned it earlier. If you were not up with us in the first hour, we'll dive into it again. The development of coaches. Brian Daboll's potential as a head coach means that it is a fair question on day one to ask, what happens if he leaves quickly? And Robert Saleh gave an interesting answer on that. You'll hear next. NFL headlines coming up for you in 10 minutes on Ramon and Will as your Friday morning continues. At Ramon Foster, at Will_bowling, spelled like the arena, not the sport. 615-737-1045, the number. It is a very valid question to ask of Robert Saleh. What is the succession plan if Brian Daboll takes another job? A, because it's been reported that he clearly impressed the Titans with plan B. And two, I mean, it's very realistic, even if it hadn't been reported. This was Brian Daboll's succession plan as spoken by Robert Saleh, talking about the development of his coaching staff in addition to the development of his roster.
No, we're really excited about the staff that we've been able to assemble over the last week since we officially locked arms, if you will. But there's a plan. I think when you look at our staff, and obviously there's still some things that are fluid before we announce all of them to you, but we've got a tremendous mixture of experience and youth. We've got some young guys that'll be on the offensive staff that we feel are on the fast track to becoming coordinators. And like I said, for me, the succession plan comes from my seat in terms of what our plan is for each individual coach and how we develop them. You know, I've talked about it before. You know, the most cliche statement a coach can make is that it's our job to develop players. It's like, well, no kidding. Of course, that's our job, but who are the people developing the coaches who are asked to develop the players? You can have a coach in the Stone Age that's developing his player, but his player's never going to leave the Stone Age. So how are we keeping our coaches up to date, evolving, staying ahead of the game, so our players are constantly evolving and staying ahead of the game? So we have a program for that to make sure that our coaches are constantly evolving and pushing the envelope of what they're capable of, no different than we're going to ask our players to push the envelope of what they're capable of. So to go back to your original question, there's a plan in place. It'll kind of be revealed once we start showing off revealing our coaches. But it goes beyond the name of the coaches that are involved. It's going to go to the development that we expect them to have.
Really interesting stuff from Robert Saleh that you don't hear a ton about. I'm sure, Ramon, there are organizations who are developing coaches and who are creating programs for their young coaches to be ready to be coordinators and play callers. But the fact that Robert Saleh cares enough about that to verbalize it on the front end, what?
I feel like I hear somebody yelling.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I thought it was Hawk. Was that you?
No.
Lady outside on the phone, she is loud. Is the studio door? No, go ahead.
It's closed.
It's
anyway.
closed?
What do you think he means by program to develop coaches? What do you think that looks like practically?
It's exactly that. Like, you need to be ambitious about working this job, not just having it be a job. I think most people, when you start working, whether you're at McDonald's dropping fries or flipping burgers, like, if you're real serious about what you're trying to do in life, like, you're forever advancing. Like, what I'm getting for is ambitious coaches, people that he want to be around and surrounded with. It's some people will no lie to you. We know this too, that they bring the poster for the project. They don't contribute. They don't do much to it. They don't look to advance the team. And it seems to me that Robert Saleh and his crew are very, very motivated into forever changing, always finding what's new, what's next. And you mentioned, earlier, what does it mean for like young coaches? Like, young coaches might have to present to the room. They may have to get in front of the board and walk in and see, can you command the room? Do you have the same mindset as the coach? Like, Brian Daboll might end up getting the flu and have to be away for a while. Can you control and run this without him? Do I have to always be on the job? And he mentioned that, what Coach Kyle Shanahan did for him. He mentioned that going into this process is, look, he taught me how to be better as far as my interview process and being a head coach. When you're scarred the way he's been, I guess, with the Jets, you reevaluate a lot of things, and it's probably the people that were around him as well and how they were pulling in the right direction. Or how do we create a staff that's not going to get run over by management?
Yeah, right.
Not that they're looking for that to be the case, but I'm sure that Jets job did a lot for him, and going back to San Francisco probably gave him a better appreciation of how you're supposed to do stuff.
Well, and to be fair about seeing this process out of the development of coaches, he wasn't really in New York long enough to see that process through.
Was not.
Because this is more of a long-term concept and plan. Let's promote from within and emphasize our way of doing things. and making sure that when we do promote from within, that person is ready to be promoted. Well, we're not promoting from within just to promote from within. We're doing it with intentionality that this coach has been developed to open their mind to other things. I think it's a really important bit of self-awareness for this reason. Experience and what these guys have done is clearly important, but it is not everything. And we can, at times, I think, Ramon, as people outside the building, overrate experience as competence. You can stick around doing lower-level jobs and stick around in this league. Just being in the building obviously comes with the baseline knowledge, but it does not mean that you are legit just because you're in the building. What are you doing in that building day in and day out to continue moving up, to continue learning new things? There are coaches out there who are going to be incredible head coaches when they get their first opportunity. There are coaches out there who get a second chance and screw it up just like they did the first time. Experience is not a guarantee. It is certainly a positive. It is maybe the filling of the pie. It's not the full pie.
No.
Maybe it's the foundation of it. So I think that, yes, experience is certainly important. And I'm glad that the Titans have people in place who have done these jobs. But I also like more than that, Ramon, they clearly have people in place who are not resting on the fact that they've done it before, but are clearly looking at new ways to do the job today and tomorrow. Clearly, that is something that Robert Saleh wants to emphasize. I think it's critical. And we've seen it from him and the way his scheme has evolved over time, going from San Francisco to New York to San Francisco and now here to Tennessee.
He mentioned that with his family even. Even his wife understands all gas, no brakes. Basically, it gets back to that, like forever pushing in the right direction. I hate a person that's stagnant. Not stagnant, but like no drive to see what's next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if, like I said, if you are just flipping burgers, like, bro, at some point in time, you trying to get behind the cash register in the window or something, you know? And that seems to me how he's trying to set up his staff is to forever be pushing the ceiling up.
It feels like experience got Salah and the staff in the door.
Oh.
And now that they're in the door, it's less about what they've done and more about what they're about to do.
What you about to do.
615-737-1045. Final hour of the show and of the week. NFL headlines. Rapid fire for you after this. For over 50 years, Brentwood Jewelry has proudly been supporting the Brentwood community, Middle Tennessee community, with exceptional style and exceptional deals every day. What's going on? It's Will Bowling. Guys, I'm here to tell you that if you haven't at least thought through your plan for Valentine's Day, you're behind. Here's the good news, though. When you walk into Brentwood Jewelry, you get the family-owned care of a family-owned business, meaning that you're going to go through this process feeling at ease. They're going to make things so easy for you. When we talk to the Imamali family, they're dedicated to giving back. They're dedicated to helping people find the right gifts, whether that's watches for the guys, whether that's an engagement ring for ladies. And that's where I got my engagement ring. I cannot recommend the process enough. They're going to make things so easy for you. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Go see the Imamali family. Check them out online at BrentwoodJewelry.com. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. That's Brentwood Jewelry online at BrentwoodJewelry.com.
9:02, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. New Titans head coach Robert Saleh was officially introduced yesterday, and Salah talked about the type of plan the coaching staff has for quarterback Cam Ward as he heads into year 2.
So the biggest thing that we're going to work with Cam, just going all the way back to the beginning, we've gotten a whole offseason to work with him, take him back to the very, very beginning, both on the field, off the field, the process at which what it looks like to not only be a professional with regards to preparation in his body, but as a professional with regards to preparing from a game planning standpoint or a playbook standpoint.
Some news across the NFL this morning. The Buffalo Bills' new head coach Joe Brady makes his first hire in Broncos senior offensive assistant Pete Carmichael Jr. to be their next offensive coordinator. Carmichael was the Saints OC from 2009 to 2023, and Brady was with the Saints back in 2017-2018 as a young offensive assistant, so a reunion in Buffalo. And the Steelers are expected to finalize an agreement with Patrick Graham to be their new defensive coordinator per Diana Rossini. Graham briefly worked with Mike McCarthy in Green Bay back in 2008. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to the fourth and final hour of your Friday morning. Coming up in 15 minutes, Ron Slay's weekly visit on the program. ESPN's Ron Slay, who will talk college hoops with us and talk about their sit-down interview on 3HL with Robert Saleh. 3HL podcast feed, if you missed it. I've not heard it yet. I was a little tied up yesterday afternoon, so it is on my list today as we drive around a little bit on Friday and enjoy socialization. Ramon Foster.
I'm into it, man.
Socializing.
I think me and my gang may get out today, man, and find ourselves around the city doing something. Like you said, cabin fever gets real.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Also, clean out the fridge day for probably a lot of folks like me who did not have cold air in their refrigerator for the whole week.
Can I brag about cleaning out the fridge real quick?
Please do.
Well, first it came with a mistake.
Okay.
Got a deep freezer, standing freezer in my garage. Okay. I went in there one day, had to be my thing. Okay. Well, your boy left it open, ruined all of the meat inside of the deep freezer. Do we still call them deep freezer? Either way, the standard.
I've never
freezer.
called it a deep freezer.
You never call it a deep freezer? Well, my grandma's house had a deep freezer. It's
okay.
Basically the rectangle one. Either way, ruined everything in it. My boy. Hard times, okay? I had to throw away all of this stuff. All right, fast forward now. My wife been talking about getting a half a cow for a while. I think I brought it up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Actually ordered one.
Okay.
The meat's supposed to be here next week. I'm looking forward to it.
And you've got a wide open deep freezer.
I got a wide open deep freezer for this, okay?
Plenty of room for a cow.
I'm nervous. It is one portion of this, bought a half a cow, so it's like 120 pounds of like ground beef.
Oh my gosh.
We do use a good bit of it, I'll be honest with you.
Crazy.
120 pounds is crazy.
Of ground beef. We got a big enough freezer outside to get it done, but as many steaks that we've kind of gone through and just always got to run to the store. Let me go grab something real quick. It was just like, man, maybe we should get a half a beef. I'm looking at a place right now in Springfield to get a half a pig too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's
let me know who your pig guy is.
I will. I got the farm. I would give you the name to it, but I'm going to need a discount for giving them one. Same way I'm not giving you the one in Knoxville. So I ended up getting the beef from Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be here next week sometime. Storm threw me off, which we need a little time to kind of clean up a little bit anyway. But yeah, got a whole half a cow.
So you got a half a cow. Does that mean there's just a half a cow walking around somewhere in Knoxville?
Ain't my problem no more.
Dang it.
Yeah, well,
There's also half a pig.
Which half did you get? Also, is my follow-up question. Did you get
right or left?
You get the.
I hope I got the right side.
I was going to go the opposite way. Did you get the front side or the back side of the cow?
No, just cut it right down the middle.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, see, that also is front, back, up,
there's
down,
a cow
right,
leaning
left,
somewhere just on his left hooves.
Whatever you do, tell him thank you for his contributions, okay?
Why only half?
We will all eat. This is what I mean by everybody eats.
Only half. It's 120 pounds of meat.
You want me to tell you what comes in this
But if
half
he's
a cow?
got a deep freezer that's wide open, why
Y'all
not
got
just
me
get the
going
whole
there.
thing?
Can you do like fillets, like steaks? in this?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you everything that comes in this, okay? Just so you know. Give me
Twist
one
my
second.
arm.
We've opened up this can of worms right now.
This can of
Savages-
cow.
This can of cow. Ugh, canned meat. We did talk about spam.
What I've learned today is that when I was a cross country runner in the Southeastern Conference, I was as big as half a cow. Says more about me than it does the cow.
I mean, well, we're going to get you right then. So in this half a cow bundle
too
that
right
comes
now.
with it, you ready for it? Here's the details of what we will have. And I might have to give some of this stuff away straight up. Full breakdown.
Twist my arm.
What's frozen in the freezer?
You cooking these days, Will.
Oh, I
You
cook
too,
a lot
J-Hawk.
now. I've become a chef in my 3 years of hosting this show.
So to break it all the way down, a half a cow gets you. All right, so 115 pounds, now 120. 115 pounds of 1 pound packages of ground
Thank
beef.
God I was worried about that 5
Think
pounds.
of that though, just real quick though. If you went to your supermarket and you got a 5-pound thing of beef, that's still a ton of beef.
You're correct.
Listen, unless you're making a lot of lasagna and pastas out here, okay? But
Big ragu.
hey,
That's where you get the name.
there we go. Boy, you picking up what I'm putting down.
All right, hit me. Go.
So 115 pounds of 1 pound pre-made packages of beef. All right, so that's that. Got 6 8-ounce fillets.
Ooh.
Got 8 12-ounce strips.
Okay.
10 12-ounce ribeyes. 6 8-ounce sirloin steaks.
My
you
goodness.
get a pound of flank steak. 4 pounds of skirt steak.
So it is the backside.
Yeah, you get the back
Flank
side.
steak.
All right. You get 8 pounds of stew meat, a pound of flat
8
iron.
pounds of stew meat. My goodness.
Listen, it's chili season out this thing, all right?
Absolutely.
We can also throw it on some skewers if you want to grill them too as well, all right?
You got any brisket?
Be cool, J-Hawk. Let me run
that's
through the
pork.
list.
No,
No, brisket
there's
is cow.
Brisket's cow.
Yeah,
pork.
shoulder
What am I
is
talking
cow.
about?
Yeah.
Beef brisket
long
and
week.
pork
It
brisket.
has.
I knew that.
2 pounds of
I knew.
tri-tip, which I like tri-tip.
Oh, yeah.
You get 25 pounds of round roast,
25 pounds of round.
8 pounds of chuck
That's a lot
roast.
of crock pot meals.
You get a 10 to 12 pound brisket.
I know the crock pot hates to see this cow come.
Can't wait to see it coming. Do you hear me? Gonna get used up. And you get a 4 to 6 pound short rib plate. So, we in this thing.
I need
Short
you to get
ribs
very
is-
creative.
Love it.
Short
yes.
ribs is something I've started to like a lot more
Yeah,
recently.
they're fantastic.
Love a short rib.
Amazing. Do you hear me?
Nice
Love a
smoked.
short rib.
But it's more efficient than what we got going on right now, and it's gonna force us to cook at home, which is what we're trying to do. My wife made jelly. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
She made jam. I'm gonna have to bring you some. She made more.
I
of
would
it.
love that.
Phenomenal. Do you hear me?
Peyton's in her sourdough baking era.
So yeah,
That's tough.
What's that? She's in her sourdough.
What's tough about it?
Is
It's
she
great.
really?
I get to eat a lot of bread.
No. It's hard to start
Oh,
the
yeah,
sourdough.
yeah.
Because the start, you have to feed it constantly.
We're cooking.
Yeah, you do. Keisha
Literally.
fed hers yesterday, by the way.
Same.
Daryl said he's done this, or Daniel said this. He called me Roman, by the way. He said he do this, and he promised you will not regret this from both cow or pig. Everybody's been saying it's been worth it.
Man.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to see how creative you get with these recipes. You're gonna
I gotta have y'all over. Let's just start there
Yeah, all
first.
right. That works.
Yeah, I don't think
We've
you
got
can
more
eat it all
time
by
now.
yourself.
We got
Football's
time
over.
now.
Yeah.
I think all year.
Do we need to
Anytime.
have a Super Bowl party? No, we'll figure something out. Let's figure something out.
Okay.
We're gonna have to set a
Don't
hard
twist my
date.
leg.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna feed you some meat. That's what I'm
like
gonna do. Whoa. Huh.
NFL headlines this morning to begin the fourth hour. Ian Cunningham will be the next general manager of the Chicago Bears. Sometimes you just gotta jump right in. Let's go 0 to 60 to avoid.
Move on over.
We're putting the moo and move on. Ian Cunningham's a person we vetted a lot for GM positions twice, Ramon, here, and will be the new GM, 40 years old, with Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski. How confident should Falcons fans feel in their organizational restructure and the new regime they've got in place?
Man, it's I don't know. Can I be really blunt with you?
I'd prefer for you to.
It's hard for me to know what Matt Ryan and the Falcons are going to do because former players in these type of positions, especially being this fresh out, I don't know if they understand the business behind the game. So I'm really wait and see with him. It's not been minutes the same way I felt about John Lynch being in this position. Like you got to ask yourself. I remember when he got it, it's just like, well, what are you as a play call? I mean, as an organization runner. So Matt Ryan, to me, being in this, do I think he's a smart guy? He's a Boston College man. Absolutely, he got some understanding. He's a quarterback. Quarterbacks live in a different world than most other players inside of the building. They talk to the owners. They get invited to the owner's house. Like, they talk to the owners, well, the minority owners and GMs more often than we do. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Can he, as a former player, do the business things. Like, be a jerk to somebody that he needs to. Mm-hmm. Do you know what failure looks like from a player perspective?
Because it's going to be interesting.
Players always feel like we could fix stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just got to cut it off, and I'm interested to see what he looks like doing this.
Joe Brady, the new head coach of the Buffalo Bills yesterday, said Keon Coleman is going to be a Buffalo Bill. And if you missed it, the owner, Terry Pagula, said last week after firing Sean McDermott that the coaching staff, not GM Brandon Beane, pushed to draft Keon, and that Brandon Beane was, quote, being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff who felt strongly about the player, pretty much insinuating that maybe the player's not going to be here much longer. Joe Brady yesterday said, quote, I told Keon when I got hired, the best thing that happened to Keon Coleman was me being his head coach. I was one of the ones that stood on the table for Keon Coleman, and I believe in Keon Coleman. Ramon, if you were putting yourself in Keon Coleman's shoes, how difficult would it be to play for an organization and an owner who was throwing you not only under the bus, but was like taking the keys of the bus and then backing up over you again and then running you over again?
It'd be different if Keon Coleman had been successful up to this point, with numbers and stats and stuff like that. Here's what is going to happen in Keon Coleman's situation moving forward, in my opinion. He's going to get ticked off. He's going to be upset. His pride is hurt publicly. And if he's right-minded, which I think Keon Coleman is, they're going to get the best version of him. That's what I see for him. If he's smart about what was said and perceived about him publicly, then he's grinding right doggone now. And that's going to benefit the Buffalo Bills, and it should benefit him financially moving forward in his career. Like, that sucks. I ain't gonna. I don't know if Keon Coleman knew all of that conversation was being held about him, but to have it be publicly said,
yeah,
from your owner,
it's one of those line in the sand moments where that either motivates you to act a different way, maybe in the facility, or it's just kind of the end for you in that place. And you are you're headed elsewhere. The Eagles finally hired their offensive coordinator. Speaking of difficult marriages between Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, A.J. Brown, and just the politics of Philly, Sean Mannion is 33, has only coached for 2 years, is, quote-unquote, highly regarded in league circles. I love that line. You hear it so much. This guy was a Minnesota Viking and Seattle Seahawk in 2023 and is now the play caller for the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. You like this fit, Ramon?
It's new and innovative. It's the way I look at it. Now, here's the other part. We can't side-eye this, or I won't side-eye this, if Robert Saleh has pretty much said they're setting up a group of coaches that there are soon to be coordinators. This may be the same for them in this situation in Philly. And you'd almost expect with where they are as a franchise, especially offensively, they can't run the risk of getting this wrong. AJ's already on edge. Jalen Hurts is being pressured by everybody in that city, and I feel like national head talkers, a sports talker at this point. For them to make this bold of a hire tells me this guy may be a diamond in the rough. I ain't going to disparage you just yet.
I have no clue what he is because he's worked for a very offensive-minded head coach and play caller in Matt LaFleur. So we'll see. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator of the Packers. That's Adam Stenavich.
No, that's
who
what
interviewed
I'm
here.
In this NFL world, Coach Mack has brought this up to us numerous times. Like, there's a lot of coaches that now get expedited to the front of the line, way more so than they did back then. Like, these guys are more than, I think, just employees. They're trying to be CEOs, I think, more than they ever have in years past because of Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and, Cliff Kingsbury as well.
Yeah. The ability to identify coaching talent is not something every coach can do.
It's either that or Sirianni's going to be fired.
And the thing is, if Kevin Patullo was his scapegoat the first time, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get the OC hire wrong a second time, then you're the one that's being scapegoated. Or as Michael Scott would call it, an escapegoat. An escapegoat.
An escapegoat.
Coming up next, ESPN, SEC Network, 3HL's, Nashville's Ron Slay after this.
I'm going to feed you some meat. Whoa.
Promotional will continues at 104.5 The Zone in hour number 4. And at this time every week, you get the embodiment of if Friday was a person. We call him Ron Saleh. He's on ESPN. He's on SEC Network. He's on 3HL. He's in your hearts. Good morning. How are you?
What's up, Will Lee, man? That's the perfect song right there to come on to, man. Keep your head up. Because, shoot, I'm going to be real. Like, you got to keep your head on the swivel. And now all the meat y'all slanging, I don't know what's going on in y'all little studio on the Friday. So I said, I'm going to call in to be safe on this one right here.
Okay.
Too much meat slanging in there.
Okay. Okay. I see because I come and just.
No, Savage. No, this on you. It's on you. Because anytime I make a little comment on our show, you always got to go overboard in the chat. Every single time. It's cool to make 1 or 2 comments and move on. Not Savage. Savage got to make a minimum of 6 and get everybody to keep keying and pointing every time somebody say something. I just got to ignore them. So, no, this is your medicine on this Friday. Catch me outside. How about that?
Ramon Foster was moved to 320 on yesterday's 3HL and all of a sudden felt like he needed to prove himself again.
I did.
This is what happened.
I did. Don't move me for the ball guy, okay? I know y'all want to meet him and talk to him and have him in studio and use my headphones on top of that, too. I peeped everything that went on yesterday, okay? I was in here with forensic gloves just looking at everything that y'all did in here. And I'm going to tell Babs, this light is too bright. I'm blinded this morning by this damn camera light that she got on too bright.
Hey, Savage, I would much rather have my brother with me at 5 at his normal time. I'm just saying, it wasn't me. You can get on your for making that call. You know what I mean? I think that came from up top.
And then on top of it, Jayhawk don't even have your name up here. He got you as BBQ Master, okay?
Barbecue Master Ron Saleh with us this morning.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I come through. Sauce Master.
No, see, it's ever since Sauce Master. Now, that right there is very true. Ever since you and Hawk had y'all a betting debate and misunderstanding, he's been Team
Mr.
Ron
Miyagi,
Slay.
Ron
Mr.
Slay.
Miyagi out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
That's my dog. It's my dog.
It's not your dog.
Slay, what did you take away from getting to meet Robert Saleh yesterday and having him on 3HL? Great discussion on the show that looking forward to diving more into later today.
Y'all look about the same height. I didn't know he was 6'8".
Yeah, that was crazy. I see you gonna side with your deranged friend Ballin' Ali when he threw out there on Twitter talking about I thought Slay was 6'8". Look here, Ballin' Ali. You out here looking at sizes and measurements. I'm starting to question you, brother. You know what I mean? Just enjoy the interview is what he should be doing. But other than that, though, man, I will say, man, like he's commanding. You know what I mean? If I was a player, that would be one of the guys that I would. You know what I mean? I'd be going by his office. You know what I mean, to holler at. You know, I think it gives that welcoming off as far as, you know what I mean, you could feel the player side of him. You know what I mean? And he's open to conversation. It feels like one of those times that you can bounce things off of this coach, you know what I mean? And you're able to toe the line as far as where, you know what I mean, you got a player-coach relationship, and then you just got a good guy that you can talk to. He seems like he's been through it. You can tell he's got values, you know what I mean, morals that he stands on. So I think that's all fine and well, just what you see on the surface. But I also believe, you know what I mean, after what this franchise has been through, you're not in a wait-and-see moment, but you're in class and you got your pencil out, you know what I mean, ready to take notes in class when he come in. You ain't slumped down, making jokes in the back of the room when he walk in. You ain't betting on, hey man, who can hit him in the head when he writing on the chalkboard or something like that. That's not what you're doing. I think he commands your attention, and that's good. I think that's good when you're starting to get your footing as far as this franchise moving forward. That's on the surface for me.
Slay, I'm curious on the topic about developing coaches and being able to teach people on your staff how to teach, not just resting on the laurels of your experience, but like Salah said yesterday in the press conference, we've got a program and a plan in place to develop coaches. For you and your athletic experience in hoops, what would that look like, Slay, for you? And I know this is something that's been important for Rick Barnes as well at Tennessee, and he's got a long coaching tree and line of assistants that have gone to be head coaches elsewhere. What does that look like as a head coach if you're putting yourself in Robert Saleh's shoes to develop the coaches around you?
Man, honestly, I think it looks like what we've been asking out of the front office of the Titans to get. You know what I mean? A pecking order, accountability. You know what I'm saying? Be able to see exactly who's doing what and who should get the pat on the back or the standing ovation for what they did. Also, who should be called into the office saying you should do better. I think that's what it gets. You know what I mean? You get to walk away. You get to walk away understanding that, man, this coach is handling this. He has this responsibility. You know what I mean? You're delegating responsibility, if you will. And I think that's something that we've not been able to see or know what's happening, you know what I mean, because everybody's held it close to the vest. I think you're coming in and you're establishing that right here and right now on what's happening. I heard Savage talking about, man, you never know what life holds. If somebody would be out for a period of time, 2-3 week period, you know what I mean, who do they delegate it to? But you seem to have people in position to be able to step up. And if you're developing like you're supposed to, you got people that can fill that role. So I think that's exactly what it looks like, if any of that makes sense.
Oh, it makes all
Total
the sense.
Yeah.
Savage, when you look at this situation that the Titans are placed in, man, going from one style of coach to the next, I've kind of said this, like that Tennessee tough mantra is just a part of it. Is it always going to be the case for it to be a guy like Robert Saleh to be leading this franchise? You know, with the attitude, with the presence, because I think that's just what they expect here, and from the locker room out, just hearing and watching guys' response to Salah yesterday.
Absolutely, Savage. And I think, man, the biggest thing is that was lacking. We had Zeph Pullett from the Bussin' with the Boys interview with Big Jeff on there talking. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest things that was lacking was having the identity. And we've talked about this on the back porch many a times. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, who are the Titans? Like, I don't know who they are. You know, and that really showed his head when Vrabel left. It was almost like, all right, y'all, like, are you going to carry on that same mantra, which would leave you in his shadow, and you try to be who he is, or do you develop into who you want to be? And I think that's what Salah is coming in to do. Like, he established what he's going to do. We're going to play fast, talk Shiano, and be violent. That's what it is. So you're able to stand on that at least and push from that right there. That's the biggest thing, man, on any team. You got to have an identity, who you are, because when everything goes chaotic and you need something to fall back on, you fall back on who you are, your principles, and what you can build back from. So now you're starting to establish that. And I think Salah is a guy, from what I see right now, he is a guy that can do that. And I also loved with him talking about the fire still burning for him coming out of that New York Jets situation. You know, I think that's a tough spot. You know what I mean? You want to get back in and get your footing. You want to show people who you are. Some people may sulk, but he's a guy from his story, and I think that's one of the good things you're always going to get in our interviews. You're going to get that personal experience to kind of relate that to who he is now. And he shows that, man, any failure or whatever it is, I'm not going to sit back and sulk. Yeah. I'm gonna get up the next day, you know what I mean, and strap my boots up and get back to it. And I think that's what you got in him. And I think he's learned from his past failures.
Savage, so we've done this a couple of times, man. You know, guys leaving, guys coming in, whether that be GM situation or head coach situation. And it's always, this is the dating stage right here. This is the first date, and everybody kicked it off, right? What's your approach this time around? Even if he did win you over as a fan, as somebody that's covering this team, it seems to me he checked the box yesterday. But what would you caution still going into this situation?
You know what, Savage, I don't even think it's about us as fans cautioning walking into the situation. I thought he did it.
Okay.
I thought he did it. I don't think he came in and set any expectations. I think he came in and described who he was. He described he has a plan. And when we asked him at the end of our show, like, what's next, he named a laundry list of things. Like, before we can even get to the spring to start talking about practice and everything, we got to deal with stuff like who we want to go get personnel-wise, get ready for the draft. We got to go and observe this roster to see who we going to keep. You know what I'm saying? So I think that right there is saying enough to the fans, like, hey, y'all hold on. Like, don't y'all put no expectations on this. Like, this is a whole damn process. You see y'all done won 6 games in 2 years. I ain't the only one looking at this. Y'all look at it just like I'm looking. But we do have a plan in place to where we're going to take it step by step. So don't think out of the first 10 games we win 8 or any of it. No, we're taking it step by step. We ain't even got to the off season. For real. Like, I just got hired. They still trying to figure out, you know what I mean, the coaching staff defensively and everything. So all of that comes in play. So if you're reading the tea leaves, it's hey man, we got a coach. He's hiring guys in position. You got 3 head coaches on one team in each phase. I think he spoke about that. Having Bones as a phase, you have Daboll as a phase, and you have him as the head coach and defensive guy. I think it's all set right there, Savage, and I think that's where it stays.
Right.
There's no need to jump out there and be trying to plan on when the anniversary is, what y'all doing, what type of charm bracelet you gonna get them, and no, that ain't. He's telling you, don't do that, because you're gonna be sitting there at the table with reservations, and he ain't showing up because he ain't even made it to that point. I think that's the biggest thing that I took from it, Savage.
Gotcha.
Slay, Tennessee hosts Auburn this weekend. Is a 6.5-point favorite inside the Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena. If you had told me last Friday, Slay, I know we said this with Hubs too, that Tennessee would go 2-0 on these last 2 road games, I would have been pleasantly surprised, considering the issues that were coming out of the Kentucky game. I know you talked about on your social media, and if people have not seen your weekly recaps, go check them out at the Ron Slay on Twitter. JP Estrella's performance being the story of the game the other night, Slay, against Georgia. Whatever somebody told JP Estrella, I hope they keep saying it, because to me, Slay, he is the X factor for Tennessee, and you know what you're getting from Nate Amen at this point. You know what you're getting from Jacoby Gillespie. If Estrella can be that third guy, Slay, how good can Tennessee still be this year?
Man, I think they can reach the expectation of being able to get back to where they left off last year, and that would be the Elite Eight. Just because of the impact that he's going to have. You look at the front court, they have to do this as a collective unit. This isn't a Grant Williams down there. You can depend on 18 and 12 or whatever it may be that he can go and deliver night in and night out. But those 4 guys, Dwayne Brown, Jalen Carey, Felix Akpara, JP Estrella, those guys right there as a collective unit can go out and get you 25 and 25. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's asking a lot. I think when you look at the emergence of JP Estrella, this is just maturity, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different phases that you go in. And this is coming from a guy that did that. As a 6th man coming in my freshman year, you know what I mean, trying to make a splash, being that electric rod when you come into the game that can change the course, the impact of the game, right there, a drop of the dime, to going into your sophomore year. And sometimes you thrust into a starting role, getting more minutes. They depend on you. To your junior season, then now you got more responsibility on your shoulder. You're in the starting lineup. You're supposed to help carry. They got to depend on you to your senior year, where you set the tone each time you come out. So it's a maturation for JP Estrella. He always been the guy, you know what I mean, when they went off the court, to throw up the little W's. And that's fun. Hey, JP, fun-loving guy. That's what I'm talking about. You know, and then you come into the next year, and you're expected to do a little bit more as far as, hey, man, we need you to go in there and be impactful. But it's not more than 10 to 12 minutes a game. Now you asking this guy to get out there 18 to 24 minutes a game. You know, you're supposed, like Coach Barnes said, this is what we expected our starting lineup to look like. Now we're finally getting to that. He had to accept his role of being a guy to being relied upon to go out there and deliver night in and night out. You can be a good guy. You're a great guy. But when you get between that line, this is how the name Savage came about. You got to be able to click that switch and go out there and be who you're supposed to be regardless. Everybody ain't going to frown at you when you come off the court because you was a menace out there on the floor. You know what I mean? That's a whole different ego persona. I think he's finally figuring that out. He can be a nasty guy out there and then still be fun-loving once the horn goes off and you step out. One person that I wish I would have mentioned in my update was Bishop Boswell. I think what he's been able to do from him, being willing to take shots.
Yes.
That when you're left open and make those shots and out there getting a double-double, that's nuts for a guard, man. Like that right there, and to play the defense that he's playing. that right there is needed. So the two biggest assets for Tennessee moving forward, with everybody else being who they're supposed to be, would be J.P. Estrella and Bishop Boswell.
I feel like you could put J.P. Estrella in those like mid-thigh basketball shorts and like rec specs on and put black and white film on it. Like, he's just such a throwback player in so many ways, and just the little baby hook shot and the things that that go by the wayside of the game as it evolves. I love watching him play. So when he's on, I feel like he's as fun a player as Tennessee has in this team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we need him to be after the game.
Yeah,
during the game, we need him to be out there forceful. The way he went and grabbed those 2 defensive rebounds against Alabama to help seal that victory. Yeah. The way he went up there and put the little hook shot up, the turnaround over the right shoulder, that right there being aggressive, like that is so needed, man, because you make your counterpart be the same exact way. You know what I mean? Like when they came over to double, him throwing it up on the basket, like that's why I say when you got these tall trees in there that are athletic like him, the best time is not to be doing them drop-offs like Ethan Berg hasn't figured out. That's why he can't get up off the bench. But to put it on the rim. Like he threw a shot up, and Felix Okpara, man, Surreal went over there to block it. That's a dunk. Like Dwayne Brown the same way. Like all these guys, sometimes the best pass to a big man is putting it on the rim. Yep. You know what I mean? So they starting to figure that out, man, and hopefully it continues to carry over because you got the son-in-law coming in, man, that found out that you know that he was born out of wedlock or something. He wanted to be a rebel, you know what I mean, to university. And then when Bruce Pearl leaves the family reunion and everything, everybody looking at him because he out there throwing tantrums and stuff. Like, hey, man, go leave. Your dad already left, man. Why you still here? You know what I mean? So that's going to be one of them. This is going to be a good one right here for Stephen Pearl, man. This is my guy, too.
You got one more segment to talk hoops with us?
Let's do it, baby.
All right. We'll talk more about Auburn, talk more about the SEC slate this upcoming weekend. Final segment of the week with Ron Slay after this. Wrap it up Friday morning here on Ramon and Will. Been a long week. Hope you're getting power back today if you didn't have it throughout the week. Ron Saleh joining us to give you a little bit more energy this morning as we wrap up the show. Tennessee and Auburn tomorrow night, 7:30 on ESPN. Saleh, what is the key matchup you are watching for in this game?
Man, you got to stop Keyshawn Hall. Good gosh. This man is on the tear, man. Second in scoring in the conference, right behind LeBaron Philon. So this man seems to be established a pecking order. Like, he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else is cool with it. Kevin Overton is a guy that can go get buckets, but he seems to be fine with Hall taking over to Hall. Pettiford seems to be settling into that general point guard mode for Auburn. But, yeah, I think it starts and stops with Keyshawn Hall, man. He can go on all three levels. He's a guy that's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's out here saying that he wants to be SEC Player of the Year. Wow. And that's bold to be jumping out there saying it like that. So I think it's evident who it starts with. You got to be able to contain him. And then be able to push the pace. Auburn isn't a team that goes 8 or 9 deep. You know what I mean? They only have about 7 guys that they can really depend on. Really, they start in 5. You may get some from Jokic coming into the game. But other than that, man, they don't have guys that they can really rely on outside of those starting 5. And then Elijah Freeman coming off the bench. So that's where the 7 stops. So that's it, man. They want to play at their pace. They want to slow it down so the guys can protect guys from being in foul trouble. This isn't the old Bruce Pearl teams. And I think that's a testament what Stephen has been able to do to figure out where they thrive at. You know what I mean? And it's the pace slowing down and them doing it possession by possession.
That's what I was thinking of, Savage. Like, Stephen Pearl has done fine as a first-year head coach, man, but I look at these situations going into it where he's emotionally attached to it, even if he hates it right now, and for good reason. But where does experience for Coach Barnes, who just got 850 wins, man, kind of take over and may manipulate what Stephen Pearl has planned for him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it starts with not only the game plan, but the officiating. It carries over to that, too. Coach Barnes, you could see he's been one man to be able to have the officials' ear because of that veteran status that he got, Savage. And that bodes well, especially down the stretch of games. You've been able to see it, and you can see him conversing with the official that we know Will Lee loves, Pat Adams.
Oh, my gosh.
In the last game. Like, for Pat Adams taking the time to listen to him and respond to him says a lot as far as where the respect is, because, man, Pat Adams is a difficult one to deal with, but it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to get his point across to guys, you know what I mean, the physicality they're able to play with Tennessee, that is, as far as pressing up, pushing pace. Are they going to be able to be handsy, or are they going to call it tight? I think that's going to all bode on all lie on what Coach Barnes can do as far as affecting this game.
I was having a good morning, and then I had to think about Pat Adams, and
I apologize for that.
I mean, listen, 12 years ago now, when he gave Jerron Mayman his 4th and 5th fouls at once. I've never gotten over it. It's fine. It's fine. He's got to insist on us knowing he's there, Slay. Like, he's got to do something. He's got to make some kind of call. He's got to be the backside official on a play that's not his call and run and wave his arms like he's trying to fly, like he's trying to get lift off. Like, no, this way. We're going this way. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Got him, Savage.
That's that impact. What do you say, Savage?
I said, you got him.
It bothers me more than it should.
You got him. He was having a good day.
Yeah, I knew that's the one that can push Will Lee buttons, but I know he can't stand Pat Adams.
Ole Miss Vandy, Slay. Big one for Vanderbilt as they look to stack a couple. What in the world was Kentucky doing against Vandy the other night? I mean, I don't understand this Kentucky team.
Nah, I do. It's as simple as, man, they finally figured out how to play without Jalen Lowe. I think the pressure of their back being against the wall, Coach Pope told those guys, man, y'all go out there, hey, man, play free, dog. Like, just go have a good time and leave everything else behind. So you're able to do that when you play letting your hair down, be able to come back from 17 points, get those road victories, win at the buzzer like that. But now the problem is you're expected to win after a 5-game winning streak. And I knew it was a matchup problem. I, man, took the cap to Vanderbilt, Tyler Tanner and those guys, Tyler Nickel coming out playing ball, 19 apiece. Then Devin McLaughlin being able to step up and make some front court impact. Even if it was beyond three, you were able to pull those bigs out from under the paint, protecting the rim. So Tyler Tanner and those guys can do what they do. But I thought it was a matchup problem. Like, everybody continues to say, man, Kentucky's big and they're physical. No, they're not. No, they are not. They have Malachi Moreno, who's playing above water as far as a freshman, and he's been doing outstanding. But you got another guy in Garrison coming in behind him. Then you got the European guy coming in behind him. It's like, what are y'all trying to do? You don't scare anybody. Otega Owe is a guy that's physical, but that's kind of where it stops. You know what I mean? And not to have a point guard to get you in situations. The tape is out. Savage talk about this all the time. Once the film gets out, that's going to carry you for about 2 weeks. They couldn't figure it out, what was going on with Aberdeen at the point. Now teams have figured it out. We'll corral him and not let him beat us and not let him feed the other guys. So it makes it difficult when the ball's kicked out and you got to go. You want to be a one-on-one guy against a team that has a second effort defense. It's different. So now you got to go. If you're Mark Pope, you got to go back to the drawing board and come up with another scheme. This is part of it. You got to continue to switch schemes and continue to have people step up. Until then, they'll continue to struggle like that, man.
He is Ron Slay, ESPN, SEC Network, 3HL. Appreciate you as always. Good to hear from you.
No doubt, man. I give some love to Gator Mike, man, before he go nuts over there, man. His Florida Gators. I don't know what Gator Mike want for them beating South Carolina like that, but I mean that salute to them. They've been playing really well though.
Good effort. Good job.
Chinyelu is how you pronounce his name. So I've been told that. Ruben Chinyelu. Has still been playing good, and Thomas out right up there for SEC Player of the Year, man. So give some love to the Florida Gators out there.
Thanks, Slay. Appreciate you.
That's what happens when you go to the big network.
What? When y'all come out of there, man, take all that meat up out of there with y'all, man. Don't nobody want to be at the Dunkin' Dodge when y'all playing meat in there, Savage.
In that case,
quit inviting everybody over there, man.
Back at it Monday morning, 6 a.m.
You doing it.
We'll
doing
talk
what I
to you
do.
then on 104.5
Hey,
Design.
call your people, love your people, man. Everybody love everybody unless you don't get invited to the cookout, man. But remember, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot. I'm going to feed you some meat. Whoa.